All right, Kornacki's live, but it doesn't matter. There's nothing to talk about yet.
Michigan, we may hit 8 o'clock, and this thing may look just like it looks right now, and it may look kind of like that for a while. This is a slow counting state. Now, we're always open to pleasant surprises here. Maybe tonight we'll find out that Michigan has kind of, sped things up. They've learned some new things, implemented some new things. Who knows? But it's been a very slow state counting the votes, and that has been particularly true right here in Wayne County, where the city of Detroit is. This is the biggest single piece of the puzzle in the primary tonight. 20% of all the votes in Michigan tonight, roughly, are going to come out of Wayne County. Okay, when did we get results from Wayne County? In the 2024 Democratic presidential primary, it's statewide primary, 5 in the morning. In the 2024 general election, we got some, but we really didn't have most of them until 3 in the morning. So can we do a little bit better than that? So I think one thing to keep in mind as we start getting results from Michigan, Wayne is very, very significant here, but it may be the last piece of the puzzle to fill in.
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about percentages, Shad. Steve is just like soft serving it to you. He knows the truth. It's all about percentages. If like we already talked about, if Wayne County early results look like the ballots and early results look like Haley is only leading by 20 points, it's over. It's an easy victory for Abdul.
Prologue. I'm talking about Oakland County. Oakland County, immediately north of Wayne. It is the second largest county in Michigan. I said 20% of the vote is going to come out of Wayne. How much is going to come out of Oakland? Probably, give or take, 16% of the vote statewide tonight is going to come out of Oakland County. Okay, so you're talking about sort of the northern suburbs. There's some small cities in here as well. In Oakland County, it's big. It's grown a ton. There are some very wealthy areas right here. Oakland, in the last couple elections, has given us big batches of votes in that 8 to 9 o'clock hour. Now, I can tell you, specifically, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this tonight as the results come in, what we've gotten first from Oakland in recent elections is a gigantic batch of the vote by mail. Remember how they did this? There's vote by mail, there's early voting, there's election day voting in Michigan. There's a ton that gets cast by mail. There's some, not that much, that gets cast gets cast early, and then there's a fair amount that comes same day. But there's a lot of vote by mail. And in Oakland, they have typically been reporting out
for you, bro.
A big, giant batch
of
that
I'm not
vote
there.
by
I'm
mail
in Michigan.
Pretty quickly after polls close. Now, why is that particularly significant? Because if you've been watching these, you remember we have seen big differences in how these different types of votes are breaking
David
in
was
each
right.
party's primary.
It's
On
not
the
David.
Democratic side, the vote by mail, the stuff that's been coming in for weeks before the election, that typically has been more favorable to the establishment candidates. Candidate like Haley Stevens, she's got Gretchen Whitmer's backing. She's got a lot of traditional establishment support in this campaign.
If Abdul loses, will you admit SKDK was funny? Oh, suck dick. No, I will probably die. I will probably perish on the spot. I will end it all right then and there.
Your vote typically comes late. It's folks we've seen in other states where they drop off their mail ballots on election day. In Michigan, it means probably they go to the polls on election day and they vote. Long way of saying, in Oakland and elsewhere tonight, I expect that where we get the vote by mail first, it's probably going to be the best number that Haley Stevens sees in that county all night. And then as the election day vote comes in, the picture would probably shift toward El-Sayed. So the question is, how good does it look for Stevens when that first vote comes in? And then how much does it shift to El-Sayed as the night goes on? Now, to make things further complicated in Michigan, in some states it's like this. Now, this varies by county, how they're going to do it. And it can even vary within county here. So, in fact, in Oakland, we're probably, after we get that first batch of mail, we're going to get some more mail throughout the night. So there's going to be batches that come in that are friendly to Stevens. We're going to get same day that comes. It's going to be a little bit of a mix after that. But that big initial batch, at least the way this has gone in the past, we expect to be as pro-Stevens as it gets. Now, that's important because if Stevens is going to have a chance in this primary tonight, she's got to win Oakland, and I think she's got to win it by a fair margin. She's got to do that in Oakland County. She's got to do that next door in Macomb County as well. Again, it's say 20% of the vote coming, we say, out of Detroit. Probably 16% or so of the vote is going to come out of Oakland. Probably about 10% is going to come right there out of Macomb County. And then the other one here, right next door to the west of Wayne County, of course, this is...
Come on, dude, say the percentages. Jesus
this
Christ.
This is Washtenaw County. This is the liberal bastion. This is the University of Michigan. This is where you expect El-Sayed not just to win, but to run up the score. And these 4 counties right here, okay, in southeast Michigan together, that's probably half the vote tonight. Probably half the vote is coming out of these counties. Michigan's a big state geographically, right? But if you kind of drew a line about where US 10 is and you went north of it, okay, look at all that land. Look at the UP. There's no more beautiful place in the world than the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Ton of land. I think there's probably about 8% of the vote in the primary tonight is going to come from all of these counties up here. So keep that in mind as the map fills in, just because geographically it's expansive. The vote is really concentrated. There's also a big concentration right there around Lansing, in western Michigan here, Grand Rapids, Kent County, also next door, Ottawa County, Holland, Michigan. You don't see it, but Kalamazoo is here. You've got Saginaw. You've also got Flint, Genesee County.
Saginaw!
Livingston County is kind of between. Right here is Livingston County, big, fast growing. So that's where sort of the population hubs are. I'm looking at the clock, 4 minutes. I got to speed this up, right? There'll be time when the polls close to go over this too, because, right, Adam, we could have
level
a lot of time
4 hype
to
train. If we don't get the level 10, if we don't get the level 15 hype train, we lose tonight. Okay.
We'll have some of these other states coming in too.
Subscriptions
starting at 8
now.
o'clock. And we'll
it's
be
no longer voluntary. It's guaranteed.
In the next
Let's go, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
let me remind
if you
folks of
like
that. If
the
you've been
show,
watching, you know.
if you want to support the broadcast, the Piker Broadcasting Service, the People's Broadcasting Service, polls close in 3 minutes.
Coming on, in fact, at 9
At level 10 hype train, we will carry the flame. At level 15 hype train, we will win. Level 5 hype train already complete. Let's go.
Is going to have you on 2 minutes from now.
There's probably a lot more attention on this broadcast tonight, including from Fox News, so I don't know if I should carry the flame at level 10, but
very professional, waiting for the hit to come on. They put me in the box. You'll see it all. We'll put the News Now coverage up in the screen. I will do the hit for News Now. As soon as I finish the hit with News Now, we'll come right back here. We'll pick up where we left off. I always warn you. You'll probably hear me repeat myself in the News Now stuff, so just bear with me. We'll come right back. But you know what? You'll probably hear me repeat myself a lot tonight because, again, there's just a lot of stuff we kind of go over and over as these themes, as these patterns kind of reveal themselves. 2 minutes, 51 seconds. The other things happening here at 8 o'clock, again, just to give you a sense here, a big one is happening down in Missouri, specifically in St. Louis. The city of St. Louis and part of surrounding St. Louis County. You probably recognize these names. This is a rematch. Cori Bush was a member of Congress. She was defeated for a renomination in 2024 by Wesley Bell. She is trying to make a political comeback.
Level 9 hype train.
Again, this sort of left-wing energy in the Democratic
Almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Keep gifting.
Trying to connect with that here, particularly around the issue of Israel.
At level 20 hype train, we win a guarantee. It's a guaranteed victory.
So we're seeing if she can get her seat back tonight, or if Bell can become a second-term member of Congress. Again, this district is split between the city of St. Louis, that's where we expect Bush to do best, and then a little bit the sort of inner suburbs of St. Louis County. That's where we expect Bell to do better. The vote may be faster in Missouri. You'll get that early vote, that pre-election vote first. Then you'll get the same-day vote. And again, what we said in Michigan probably applies here. That means probably the first batches of votes you see in this race will probably be the best for Bell. That election day vote will probably get better for Bush. That's the expectation. Expectations can be shattered on the spot. That's part of the fun of watching this, but that's the expectation going in. Kansas, we're also going to be looking at a gubernatorial primary there. Our decision desk could not call it. We will not call any race while there are still counties where the polls have not closed. So keep that in mind for the next hour here in Michigan. We are going to have the first of our News Now hits in 30 seconds, so we'll give you a quick read on how that works. And again, the minute we start getting results here in the Senate election, we're also going to be, well, let me stop talking because we're going to it.
Bro, don't abruptly stop, dude. What the That's crazy. Is he silent or was he silenced? Yeah, he was silenced. If someone in 2006
to the man, the myth, the legend, NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki over at the big board. Steve, we know polls in 2 states just closed, plus a lot of polling locations in Michigan. They're closed down now too, so what's it looking like?
Yeah, well, right now we're looking at the blank map, but the anticipation, this is the hour where we start to find out, I think, Gotti, in this closely contested Senate race here, I think all
We're
going to
be leaving soon, by the way. Level 15 hype train, we're at level 12.
Here.
Get to level 15, chat. What the fuck are we doing? Let's go.
Within the Democratic Party, we've seen these candidates from the sort of the far left of the party having
Mallory's still in the race. She's on the ballot, chat.
Big primaries this year.
She dropped out, but she's still on the ballot.
And
there's probably still going to be some olds that vote for her, you know.
Win this primary tonight. And then general election questions here, too.
Some olds that already voted for her, too.
You know, we talk about the midterm climate may not be friendly to Republicans. Republicans are saying, well, it may not be, but we can win if Democrats nominate a candidate as far left as El-Sayed. Because remember, this is a state that Donald Trump carried in 2020.
Taiwanese Twitch streamer Miguel from Pierre is betting 67% minimum for Abdul. 67? That's a joke, right? Or wait, what's the how many points above though? What's his lock? Because I want it to be 20. I don't think we're going to get to 20. It's probably going to be like 17. Plus 17. Does he think? Showsters! Yowza! 200 level 12 complete. Dead air, man. Dead air, not good. Okay, so I what is the DNC line if Abdul blows out Stevens by 67? I don't think that's crazy. 65 is in my range. No, I said it's crazy depending on what the... I want to know what you think he's going to put on Haley. Like, what's your gap? I think he's going to be above 60. I wonder if Abdul gets 67, that's a minimum of plus 33. He is not going to be plus... If Abdul gets plus 33, I will die on the spot. I will perish. If we get the level 15 hype train, Abdul will get plus 33. Where are you going in Michigan? I'm going to the Abdul Rahman Mohammed El-Sayed election watch party in a little bit. We're obviously wow. It's in.
Early vote. Are we looking at election day vote here? That's going to be key. Adam is taking a look at that.
Stop
but
the
one
count.
thing I can tell you about this county here is this is a place where Sayed has to do well. Okay, his support in polling and the support of these progressive insurgent candidates has really been closely linked with age. The younger the electorate, the younger the voters, the better these candidates on the left have been doing. This is a place here, Kent County, Grand Rapids, that is growing very quickly, and it's growing with younger residents. It has a younger median age than the statewide average. So this is a place where progressives have done well in recent elections. I should say better than they have, you know, in other counties statewide. It's a place where El-Sayed has to do well, and you're seeing that first batch of vote we're getting here. This is probably absentee vote that was cast by mail early.
Stop the count.
And if it is, and El-Sayed is leading it, that's particularly good news for him because, again, we expect the vote by mail to be better for Stevens. So that's the first readout that we're getting here, again, from a county where Abdul El-Sayed is expected to and needs to do well. And I'm going to ask my producer
what Kami says!
It is partial mail.
It is partially vote by mail. And Gotti, that's significant because the vote by mail, we've been seeing this, tends to be an older demographic casting it. It tends to be better for candidates like Stevens, who are the establishment candidates. So if we're seeing vote by mail, the candidate from the left, El-Sayed is doing well, that bodes particularly well for
have to be at that party.
Interesting. It's so fascinating to hear you talk about vote by mail versus same-day voting because, I mean, this is really a race between...
Gotta say, canceled
kind of a
cancel out my grandma's vote for Israeli Stevens by voting for Abdul and Macomb.
Very moderate, maybe more like cable news watching electorate.
Israeli
Do you think that we're going to see some of the same trends in terms of urban versus rural voters that we do in like the same day voters versus the mail-in ballots?
Yeah, it's a wonky conversation, but it's an important one because it really has been the defining feature. It's just been areas where you find younger voters, where you find younger college-educated voters, younger college-educated female voters, single. I'm layering these different demographic categories on top of each other. That's where these
54% hype train level
left-wing
15.
candidacies
Oh
have
my
really
God,
taken root,
Schauster,
and where there
Schmaus,
tends to have been
Schmaus,
resistance to
there's
them
another
is
100.
places where the electorate skews older. It just becomes a more sort of moderate electorate, an electorate that's more friendly to a candidate like Stevens. So again, just based on Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids area itself, especially when you're talking about Democratic voters in the Grand Rapids area, you are talking about something that's younger. There are a lot of newcomers coming in there.
Emil Habibi.
But again, that's an interesting, the fact that the vote by mail, some of this vote by mail, that we've seen demographically, that tends to be more
Level
used
15
by
hype
older
train
voters
achieved.
than younger voters. The fact that that is coming up friendly for Syed is a very interesting early sign.
And again, a very early sign, 9% in there, but real fast. Steve, remind us of like the purple nature of Michigan here. Like this,
oh my God.
Take us back to Bernie versus Hillary. What does this state sometimes skew?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look. These are the last three.
From this point out, Michigan will only be purple because it's deep red, but for socialism, and blue for some Democrats, but mostly.
2 wins for Donald Trump. I'm sorry, this is Kent County. I needed to go to the statewide. You think, Gotti, after 6 months I would know how to use this
no,
thing?
I was impressed that you were just pulling these out of like thin air and the big board. Of course you have all of these things at your
we get to
fingertips.
level 20
This is wild to just see you work here.
This is it. Look, Trump has won this 2 out of 3 times. Remember, before Trump came along, no Republican had won Michigan in a presidential election since 1988. Now he's done it 2 out of 3 times, and that really is part of the story here in this Senate primary,
with 100
where,
balls.
the Stevens campaign, her supporters have been saying to Democrats, look, Al-Sayed is too far to the left to win in a state that went for Donald Trump 2 out of 3 times. These left-wing candidacies have done really well in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Denver, New York City, places like this, where the general election is going to be a cakewalk for any Democrat. Not so in Michigan, and this has been the pitch that Stevens has been making to voters. They're saying this is a risk if you nominate Al-Sayed in a state like this. And national Democrats, some national Democrats, again, that establishment wing at least, have been saying, well, hey, winning the Senate for Democrats, if the Democrats are losing Michigan this fall, the math kind of becomes prohibitive on that.
Yeah, and not to put the big board
after the
to
primary
the test
stands
again,
for
but
actual
we're already starting to
existing
see some results
socialism.
in Virginia, right? I'm not sure if you've got those up yet, but that's an interesting state because, I don't know, because AI, data centers seem to be creeping into politics in a very big way there, especially considering that Northern Virginia has the highest concentration of data centers in the country. You're a different kind of big data guy, I know, but what are the numbers they're showing?
Yeah, I will jump there. We did get one little county here. Part of it is Wexford County. This is small, this is rural. The reason I'm flagging this even with just 10% is, again, this part of Michigan here, sort of north of US 10, is just filled with largely very small, rural, older electorates, older blue-collar white electorates.
You Michigan voter went on
here
CNN?
Is that Stevens isn't just winning up here, but for a few places, she is cleaning up here.
Agree to what they want to,
You Michigan voter. This is you, Mitch voter.
And why is that?
Because he doesn't take money from AIPAC. I'm not voting for anybody who takes money from AIPAC.
And why is that?
Embrace Hasanabi thought. 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 Now! Fox News Official. Thank you for the 25 gifted subs. Thank you, Fox News Official. My biggest fans.
2 small little, pieces of clues here that we've gotten from Kent and that we've gotten from Wexford. But again, just those 2 small things we've seen so far are things that Al-Sayed would want to see more than Stevens would want to see.
Got it. Any sizable votes coming in from places like Virginia right now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. You had asked about that, and I went, okay, let's go over to Virginia because we do have a call. I want to show you this in the 2nd district here. 2nd district is around Virginia Beach here. This is the district. It's basically dead even in the presidential race. Now, this is interesting. Elaine Luria won this Democratic primary. That's no surprise. Elaine Luria is a former member of Congress. She was defeated for re-election by Republican Jen Kiggins. Kiggins unopposed for renomination in the 2nd district. So this is going to be a rematch. 2 candidates who've represented this district in Congress. And again, the backdrop, this is as dead even as they come. This is going to be one of the most closely watched congressional races in America this November. This is going to be, kind of one of those bellwether districts. We're talking about, are Democrats going to have a big night, win the House, win it by a big margin? Are Republicans going to actually have a chance of holding on to the House? This is going to be one of those districts this November. Again, it's right there in the Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area. Big military presence, Navy presence.
20 seconds remaining.
This is going to be one of those places
87%, 20 seconds, 10 seconds
on
remaining.
Election night,
87%.
as an early clue this November. So put that one in your heads. Virginia's 2nd District, Kiggins versus Loria.
90%. 9 seconds remaining.
We're going to be checking back with you throughout the night here. Can't wait to see you, Kristen, and Hallie as the night goes on.
98%, 99%.
And just over an hour ago,
we made it to level 16 on train.
That was very nice of Gotti to put me into his show, and you got to see how that worked. That was fun, right? So let me get out of Virginia and
get back to Michigan.
You see what we make sense of those cuts, like something in an eye doctor's office. But let's go back to Michigan here and see if we've got anything new coming in. Adam, I mean, not that, do I even dare ask, do we have any clue what kind of vote this was?
Yeah, so this is one precinct out of Wayne County. It's in Grosse Ile Township. And it's just one precinct that we got results for.
Wait, that's
Grosse
actually
Pointe,
good.
Where'd you say it was?
Grosse Ile.
Wayne County, Abdul El-Sayed?
It's one precinct of election day. Again, I'm analyzing.
Yeah.
Again, remember,
Yeah,
for early voting,
I think
Abdul's not
we'll leave
supposed
it
to be ahead
aside,
right now,
for right
especially
now.
because the areas
I
that
can
are
tell you,
coming
going
from,
back to Grand
the
Rapids,
areas that are coming from should be going to Haley Stevens by like plus 35, plus 40 for her to even be competitive. This is actually, I mean, it's too early. It's too early to tell because it's like 1%.
Report out from the mail vote. I think we had it at
but that,
roughly about
like that district is not
based on our of the mail vote in our targets.
You said 16 or 60, what'd you say?
16.
16% of the mail vote in Kent
Of our
County.
expected mail vote in
the absentee drop comes from parts of Kent County that should be less favorable to El-Sayed. Yeah, exactly, including more heavily black areas of Grand Rapids, making it an encouraging result for him in the absentee vote. Yeah. Remember, we talked about this already. Early on, early votes that are coming in are absentee ballots, older. In black districts, the older absentee ballots is exactly where Haley Stevens is supposed to be running up the numbers big time. And I'm talking about literally like not plus 20, plus 40, okay, depending on where we're looking at. So if she's only above even plus 20, that's an easy victory for Abdul El-Sayed. The fact that Abdul El-Sayed, I mean, this is very, very few numbers so far. I'm a numbers guy. This is very, very few number, okay? If Abdul is leading in the absentee votes, they're going to call this pretty quickly. They're going to call this before 9. They might actually call us while we're on the way over there. We should have not waited. Are you, what's going on? You ready? It turns out it's not Israel that comes to us in our dreams. It's Medicare comes to our dreams.
Vote by
It comes
mail
to us in our dreams.
Starts to look extremely different because we've seen this in primary after primary. This is the vote that's supposed to be the best for Stevens, and she's losing by more than 16 points right now, at least, again, from Grand Rapids here, this vote by mail. She's supposed to do the best with this. Then when they start adding in the election day vote, that's when the young vote, that's when that more, sort of leftward vote comes out, and that's where El-Sayed is supposed to sort of make his move. And instead, I mean, yeah, you're seeing numbers there.
This
if you're
is
El-Sayed's
actually
campaign,
insane. Like,
I
this
think
is,
you are.
I'm not even joking. I feel
again,
like
one
this is
city
insane.
in one county. You're certainly not celebrating, but you're saying that's what you want to see. That's the start you want to see.
Okay, now the team is
if you're
fucking
Stevens'
asking
campaign,
us when we're on our way.
It's quite the opposite of that. I'm trying to pull up here. I have some benchmarks that I had established, and of course,
what are you doing over there?
What have I done? I've gone and messed everything up here. If you'll bear with me, right? So, I mean, I give you a sense of this. We're trying to think of what the best benchmarks were tonight. Use it from Stevens' standpoint, right? If Stevens going to win this election night, what does she need to be getting in a county like Kent County? So take a look at 3 recent, I say recent, it's the last 10 years, statewide elections in Kent County. Statewide Democratic primaries in Kent County. If you went back to 2016, Hillary Clinton, kind of the establishment candidate, got 37% in Kent County. Remember, she lost statewide. It was close, but Bernie Sanders did defeat her statewide. In the 2020 Democratic primary, now this was held under unusual COVID circumstances. Biden was starting to kind of become the inevitable, but it was 46% of the vote is what Joe Biden. If you say Joe Biden was kind of the establishment candidate, Biden got 46% of the vote out of Kent. And then here's the interesting one. back in 2018, Gretchen Whitmer got 44% of the vote here in her primary. Whitmer ran in 2018 against Al-Sayed and one other candidate. Now, Whitmer won the primary statewide with 52% of the vote. Al-Sayed was a distant second place, but the other candidate, which was Shri Tanadar, was also a candidate of the left. So there was one way of looking at that 2018 primary to say, hey, the progressive wing actually got 48% against the establishment, candidate of Whitmer, who got 52. So Whitmer getting 52 statewide got 44 here. Okay, so I think one thing you'd say is, if you're Stevens, that's probably the floor for you, somewhere right around there in a county like Kent. You don't want to be doing worse than 44% in a county like Kent County. By the way, Kent County was one of the better ones for Al-Sayed in that 2018 primary. He got about 40% of the vote here. It's about 44 to 40% in that Democratic primary. So, if you're Stevens, you want to at least be matching the 44 that Whitmer got out of here, because I think there's a lot of demographic overlap likely between the appeal of these two candidacies. And this is a big one. So she's running at 39 right now with what's supposed to be the better type of vote for her in this county. Again, the thing that could change that, we get outside Grand Rapids, we get vote by mail from the rest of Kent County, maybe the political complexion of it's very different, and Stevens is able to boost that number. But even if she does, in the remaining vote by mail in Kent County, what comes after that? The election day vote. And we'll see, there's always room for the pattern to be broken, but what we've been seeing with this election day vote is it's been very friendly to candidates like Al-Sayed. So Stevens,
Donovan McKinney's race is going to be called later, Chad.
If what we've seen in other primaries roughly holds up here, when you get the vote by mail counted in Kent County, she wants to be well over 44% with it to give herself a pad for Al-Sayed really having a big day on election day. And then that number for Stevens could come down and maybe land around 44%. That's a rough benchmark here for her, but I think mid-40s for her, in Kent County. She could probably dip a little bit lower if she can make up for it elsewhere. There is one big place where she could make up for it. We can get into this later. There's an opportunity here, I think, for her to do much better in Wayne County, than Gretchen Whitmer did. So that's why I say that's a rough benchmark.
Don't look, drops for Cori Bush. I'm waiting. What is it?
43, 44 range here. I think Stevens doesn't want to really start going south of that. So that's not too encouraging for her, what you're seeing first there. But again, I don't want to, this isn't the Grand Rapids primary. This isn't the Kent County primary. This is the Michigan primary.
No, I'll call it.
And we're just waiting for more numbers here from the rest of the state. Again, we got just a precinct somewhere in Wayne. We told you a little bit about Wexford. I want to see, this becomes interesting if this is replicated across the upper lower peninsula into the upper peninsula if counties consistently do this. Because again, if you're using that Whitmer model, Whitmer just cleaned up the upper lower and into the upper peninsula. These are places where she was getting 60, 65% of the vote in that primary, places where Al-Sayed was getting 15, 18, 20% of the vote. So to see Al-Sayed getting 46 here, potentially, but we don't know the vote type here. This were vote by mail too. In fact, I can tell you what Al-Sayed's number was in Wexford. Yeah, he got 23% in the 2018 primary in Wexford County, and Gretchen Whitmer got 60%, right? So again, if you're saying Stevens is kind of, wants to kind of use that Whitmer model from 2018, this is the kind of county where she wants to be getting 60%.
Those are early votes in the county for Wesley Bell. Don't focus on it. Not as good of the final results.
You want to see if that extends elsewhere there, because it's very limited. Yes.
If you do want to take a detour, we have our first few results out of Kansas as well.
Okay.
In those statewide races.
Is there anything from Missouri?
Not yet.
On that one.
I will.
The Missouri one, I think there's a lot of interest in it. I want to make sure we get to. So just
okay,
but take a look here at
increased turnout favors Abdul, obviously, and it actually favors the cross endorsements as well. I think it'll favor Donovan, which is really good. Hopefully, it'll favor Will Lawrence as well. Like the down ballot performance, I think, is going to be pretty good for the cross endorsements, right? So we shall see. Yeah, I can't even begin to explain to you how little I give a shit about, Kansas. When are you going to the party? Why are you still here? We're gonna go to the party in a little bit, okay? We don't want to arrive too early. We're trying to time it. We're trying to time it. Dog, explosions in Dubai. Brother, I can't begin to explain to you how little I will be focusing on situation monitoring right now. This is literally the situation to monitor. Right now, the center of my universe is in Michigan. Okay? The center of my universe is in Michigan right now. My heart is also in Missouri, but let's be real. Michigan comes to me in my dreams, okay? Not Israel. Michigan comes to me in my dreams.
And then Holscher, interestingly though, outside of Johnson, Holscher with an 18-point advantage. These are small. Oh, Wichita's what we want to see, of course. Now, this is interesting. This is, you know, again, this is sort of like Michigan. We don't have a ton of evidence to point to, but this is the biggie. As we said, 35% of the vote in a Democratic primary is going to come right out of Johnson County. You know, I can put the numbers up on the screen for you. 35% of the vote's going to come there. 15% or so is going to come out of Wichita. About half the vote is going to come from those two counties. Yeah.
Back to
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Okay, that's big. Put it just a way of saying this here. It's interesting that Holscher's support, at least in the big counties we've seen, getting away from Johnson County, she is running ahead, of course, and not by much, but she is running ahead of him in both those counties. That might be significant. But we want to go back to Michigan. I got to click on one of these House races, go to the Senate race. What did I just do here?
5%
Michigan.
votes in
go
for
to the Senate race. Okay, this is significant.
Okay, not as
okay,
bad.
wow. Now we think this is vote by mail in Eaton, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
Here's the story on Eaton, and the number is, if you're an El-Sayed supporter.
Let me clarify. I see mixed returns in these votes. It looks like I see some mail in here, mostly election day, and some early in person.
Mostly election day.
Michigan 7?
Yes, it looks like it's about
Lawrence
1,500
picks up
pre-advanced votes and 3,000
at 48.4%.
early election
with
day votes.
3.7% of the
this is
expected
interesting
votes
because
so far.
we're using this.
Give us Donovan. Donovan is going to take some time, from what I understand.
As a rough, I stress, rough model here for trying to set some benchmarks for Stevens. The area right around here is where Whitmer massively overperformed in 2018. Why? Because that's her political base. That's, you know, she was the county prosecutor in Ingham County. She was a state legislator from this area. She did really well in Ingham County. She did really well in Eaton County, in Clinton County, Shiawassee County, Livingston County. She did really well. So, long way of saying, we're using those three benchmarks. I'll give you a sense of Eaton, right? Clinton, we say the establishment candidate of 2016, got 44% of the vote in Eaton County. Biden in 2020 got 52%
Looking at some election day strips, it looks like 25% is in play.
When I say she overperformed in that race, you are, I lost my place here. You're looking at 65% of the vote. She got 65% of the vote.
Bro,
here
what an indictment, dude. What a ginormous you so far to basically the endorsements coming from heavy hitters in the state. It turns out this truly is, look, I can't speak for the general right now, but it truly does feel like this is the establishment race. And unlike Donald Trump's rise to power, which was in the hands of one singular person, this is a movement. The amount of money spent so far. I mean, I don't want to talk like, he won already, but I mean, it's, let's just say you really don't want to be in the Haley Stevens camp right about now. You really don't want to be in the Gretchen Whitmer camp either. Obviously, Gary Peters is out regardless, but not looking too great. Not looking too great. If you are Gretchen Whitmer looking at these numbers right now, you are not feeling confident about your future prospects, which is part of the reason why I said, like, when that endorsement came down, I was like, I don't think she ever wants to run for higher office. I think she's just going to get a cushy. I think that she is going to get a cushy consulting job after she's done being the governor. More William Lawrence drops? No, we already saw that. It's at 48.4%. Looking great for William Lawrence. Like I said, Donovan McKinney, we are not going to know about Donovan McKinney until later, if not late into the night, is the expectation. Not sure. What is this? Ferndale election day votes. DSA challenger 3-1 votes on incumbent Helena Scott, who said if Abdul wins, we're... Yeah, that's Chris Gilmer Hill is the DSA endorsed challenger looking really good. How many minutes after this primary until Haley Stevens moves back to Northern Virginia? This is a classic line. If you're in line to vote, stay in line. Polls close at 8 p.m. local time. And when she says local time, to be fair, it's Tel Aviv time. So she knows not what she says. It's not her fault, you know.
And the same question has been raised by Lawrence's candidacy. If Democrats nominate him in a district, this is not a deep blue
this is literally journalistic malpractice. That has not been said about William Lawrence. As a matter of fact, William Lawrence has consistently outperformed every other candidate in matchups and is the only Democrat running in Michigan District 7 that beats the Republican. The idea that William Lawrence is on the left, so he might be too radical, is fucking bullshit. And they tried to literally jam him up with like, he's anti-black in a district that doesn't really have a lot of black folk in it. Why did they do that? It's because he was cross-endorsed with Abdul. Okay? It's because he was cross-endorsed with Abdul, so they thought that they could hit him with the Donovan cross-endorsement. They could like maybe take out a little bit of that black vote for Donovan. They thought that they could chip away at the black vote for Abdul. It was some of the most cynical posturing I've ever seen because William Lawrence, one, Lansing has black people. Yes, but it's not like a heavily, wait, what? It's not the Lansing has black people in it, but it's not a predominantly black district. Also, regardless, he wasn't anti-black anyway. I didn't even get to finish my point. Dang, man, I'm in Lawrence's district and I'm black in Lansing. Okay, I know I have a lot of Michiganders in the chat right now, okay? I'm going to be talking about all of your districts tonight. Calm down, okay? It's less than 6% black. It's not Wayne County. Of course, there's black people everywhere. And of course, Hasanabi heads, black Hasanabi heads are going to be all around the state of Michigan, okay? Calm down. In any case, 4% in, our boy's doing good.
It may well be this split, divided opposition here, but here's Lawrence getting, at least in the little bit that we see, it's only 4%, but there he is running 20 points ahead. So that is going to be, 4%, it's 30% even.
Hasan, I licked the seat you sat on in Kitab Cafe. You are out of your mind, dude. Yeah, here, like I was saying, these are significant results because they provide our first direct comparison access vote types, and the shift is enormous, roughly 40 points towards El-Sayed. I guess the reason why, yeah, look. Haley Stevens in Eaton County was only putting up, I mean, so far this is not everything, but she's like barely squeezing 20 plus points in Eaton County with the combined absentee. And then when you combine it with election day, Abdul El-Sayed is winning. New drops.
In Eaton County, since it's the one, and I think we just got some more Eaton as well.
We did.
Yes. So we've been, I know you and I were talking a lot today about, the vote modes and the way these different votes might break. So we can check in a little bit here, especially since we have, 40% of the vote in. In the advanced vote, which is vote that was cast before Election Day, I think this includes early and mail vote. That is breaking for Stevens 49.5 to El-Sayed 44.
5.5. Okay. Yep.
And the Election Day, he's winning 64 or 65 to 32 for Stevens.
Wow. So look at that. And we've got, it was 2/3, 1/3 before. What we just got was, we think, was more.
Yeah, it looks like we're tapped out of the early now. And it looks like we're expecting a little bit more Election Day and some more mail.
There is more mail. Okay, so that was the early vote that just was added into the mix.
That's what the early vote is, a small pool.
Right.
So I think it was vote across all modes that just came in.
Right. Okay. So I mean, this would be even if we were just showing you vote by mail, I think this would be a little bit more pro Stevens. The early vote, I think, might take it a little bit away. But this is the gap we're talking about. Stevens is winning the vote cast before Election Day by 5.5 points. Remember, we said we think that vote that comes in earlier is an older demographic that's more favorable to the establishment wing. Okay, she's winning it by 5.5 points. The election day vote is going
doesn't matter if it's good or not.
33
It's gonna get the
points
job done.
for Al-Sayed. So, I mean, you know, even just a little rough back of the envelope math here, you could see that if one side, you gotta, you know, one side is plus 33 for one candidate, and the other side's plus 5.5 for the other. It's a big advantage for this candidate. And again, you say Stevens here, you know, what's the kind of number? What's like a bottom line number she would want to get out of Eaton County? If you just take the lowest of all the establishment candidates, right? We said it was 44%. Maybe if she could compensate for it somewhere else, that could drop a little bit, but she doesn't want to be getting much lower than that.
We just got Washtenaw.
Okay. This is big. Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. We just got, this must be a big bunch of vote by mail that we just got.
Taking a look.
Holy cow. That's, I mean.
I see a mix here again.
Yeah. Well, okay, if you're able to
I'm taking a look into it more.
While you're doing that, let's just take you through. Again, this is sort of the liberal heart of Michigan.
Guys, I can't tell. Is that
University
good?
of Michigan, Ann Arbor. You know, this Al-Sayed.
Guys, I can't tell.
This was his best county,
Is
as a matter of fact, I
70%
believe, in
good?
2018. Let me just check that. Yeah, I mean, look, in 2018, he basically fought Whitmer to a tie here, 46-46. But the key, using that Whitmer model, Whitmer was able to get 46% support out of Washtenaw County, right? Washtenaw County this is going to be roughly 6% of all votes.
Guys, I don't know. Is that good? I can't tell.
So you don't want to get blown out in a county like this. Whitmer in 2018 didn't get blown out. She got 46% of the vote right there.
The People's Republic of Ann Arbor.
Candidates do. Biden in 2020 got 48% of the vote in Washtenaw County. In 2016, running against Bernie Sanders, right? He'd be the college town guy, you would think, right? Hillary Clinton, well, she didn't do great, but she got 44% in Washtenaw County. These are establishment candidates in Democratic primaries in this county. That is where Stevens is running, we think, with a mix of early vote by mail and election day vote. She's a light year behind the other establishment candidates. We say, again, if you're an establishment candidate running against a progressive insurgent in a Democratic primary in Michigan, I think you go into it saying you're going to lose Washtenaw County, right? But you go into it saying, I want to be here. I want to lose it like this. I want to be in the low 40s, the mid 40s. You don't want to be in the 30s. You don't want to be in the low 30s. You don't want to be in the 20s. Now, that is 22% of the vote that's come in right there. There is more to come. That can change. Though I would say, and Adam, you can check on this if you have any of this information, the way it's gone in recent elections in Washtenaw County is like, at the very end, one of the last things that gets reported out is the vote by mail, specifically from the city of Ann Arbor. And that's not the entire county. That's a big chunk of vote. So, you know, that's why I'm curious to see how the vote by mail is breaking here, because if it's,
and I got all the Hudsons to vote. We did this because we have 100,000 siblings.
Yeah, so right now
they're not even joking. The Hudson family is like,
we have 39.
The Hudson family low key runs the state. The Hudson family is basically the Matty Maroon family. They run the state. They do have 10,000. They do have that Catholic 10,000 relative
vote specifically
movement.
Later on in the night. Looking at the county results site, it's also a pretty broad-based precinct results, but I do see precincts with zeros in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, so we're getting more from those populated
Do we have a sense
towns.
how that advanced early is breaking?
Yes. So in the early vote right now, it's breaking for El-Sayed 74-24, 25. In the mail vote, it's currently breaking for El-Sayed 50-45.
The vote by mail, yeah. So El-Sayed's winning the vote by mail right now, 50-45, and that's not included. So, okay, again, something significant is going to have to change in the pattern Adam just said for Stevens to avoid getting clobbered in Washtenaw County. Because again, we say Ann Arbor's vote by mail comes last. We think Stevens is going to do better with vote by mail. She is doing better with vote by mail than election day. So in a way, that's good news for her. You say maybe she's saving sort of saving her best for last. But even in the vote by mail that's been counted so far, she's a couple points behind El-Sayed. And I would think, this is me guessing, we'll see, when you get to Washtenaw, a place like Ann Arbor, excuse me, such a liberal town, even the vote by mail there, it may be more friendly to Stevens than the election day vote, but that doesn't mean she's winning it. She may just be losing it by a lesser margin than she's losing the election day vote. This is if you're Stevens, you know, the early discouraging signs are adding up.
All right, 1 minute.
We have some election day vote in Livingston as well, right there in the Detroit area.
Yep.
I'm feeling a little
Now you
stick
think
it
this
to
is-
him right now.
Wow. You think this
Brother.
This is a mix, but this is primarily election day, yes.
Okay,
A little
so with the
stick it to
caveat
'em.
that there's a vote, and if you can, whatever vote by mail we have, if you're able to calculate that, with the caveat that we think this is the most friendly type of vote for Al-Sayed, he's 26 points ahead with a little bit more than a quarter of the vote counted in Livingston. Livingston is sort of the big, fast-growing, ex-urban county there. You got Detroit, you got Oakland, you got Macomb, and then a little bit further out, you got fast-growing Livingston County. That's sort of where you are. Sayed leading this by 26 points. To give you, again, the benchmarks we've kind of been using are 3 establishment Democrats in Democratic primaries here. How does this compare? Okay, Hillary Clinton, well, she got 38%
All
here
right,
in
ladies and
2016.
gentlemen, we're in transit.
Steve,
We're
we have our
officially in
first result
transit.
Missouri won as well.
See you in the
we'll
car.
go right over to that. I just want to put these benchmarks up because I've been 38% was Clinton. She got clobbered here by Bernie Sanders. Biden did much better. He won it. He got 52%. Whitmer, remember, this is in that area where Whitmer really overperformed. She got 61%. So we knew that the Stevens number was coming down from 61. Clinton was really low there at 38. So look, if you're Stevens, you know, I think you're looking at this number and you're saying, okay, Clinton was competitive statewide, getting 38 in this county. This is primarily election day vote. That should be more friendly for Sayed. Is there vote by mail that's going to boost this number and put it somewhere between the 38 and 52? That's where Stevens would want to land here. So put a pin in this one here. If you're El-Sayed, that's a good start for you, but you can see a scenario here where Stevens could get into a range here that's a little bit more comfortable for her. That's Livingston right now. Adam says we've got a little bit of Missouri 1. Let's go and take a look here. Okay, now the key. So the district here is split sort of in half, all right? This is the city of St. Louis on this side. This is the inner suburbs of St. Louis County on this side. That's where we're getting the vote from. Bell here, and what you're seeing, 30%, that is their early vote. That's being released in one batch. So we said 2 things coming into this, that we expected that Bell was going to do better, much better in St. Louis County, and he was going to do much better with the early vote. So this is as good as it can get for Bell, just in terms of the type of vote we're talking about. We're talking about early vote in St. Louis County, but we're talking about nearly a 60-point margin over Cori Bush. That is significantly better than Bell was able to get out of the St. Louis County. He won this narrowly by a couple points over Bush in 2024. That is significantly better than what he was able to win the county by in the primary in 2024. So that is initially, and what that basically takes us to, 30% of the vote, that's the early vote from St. Louis County, gets us to about 1/6 of the vote in now, district-wide. That's an awfully good start if you're Wesley Bell. That's an awfully good start. Now, obviously, it raises the question, since we know there is a county-city divide in these results, and Bush did much better on the city side, looks, at least from this vantage point, well, it looks like Bell might be doing significantly better in St. Louis County than he did last time against Bush. Can Bush do significantly better in the city of St. Louis than she did last time against Bell? Also, again, we want to start to see what the election day vote looks like, because there have been some wild differences between how the early and the election day vote looks in these Democratic primaries with these candidates on the left. So is the remaining vote, does it really change dramatically there to bring that county? So anyway, if you're Bell, obviously, that's about as much as you could expect to get out of that first batch there. But those are the questions that remain after seeing that first batch there in the first district of Missouri. So Adam, thank you for keeping me honest. If we get more there, we'll go right back to it. We're not going to miss it. Before going to Michigan, I will just check in here on the Republican gubernatorial primary in Kansas. Masterson continuing to lead there. In the Democratic primary, continues to be an extremely close race right here. Ethan Corson, less than 1,000 votes behind Cindy Holscher. We've got, this is where Kansas City, the city of Kansas City, Kansas is, the place where the Chiefs are going to be playing starting in 2030. Corson is leading there. He is leading narrowly, to put it mildly, in Johnson County. Leavenworth, that's small. But again, it does just catch my eye that when you're getting out to the bigger population places, outside of the immediate Kansas City area. Even you're getting to Lawrence, the college town here, you know, Holscher is leading there. But again, this is statewide. This is 921 votes. We got Michigan?
Yeah, we have more vote out of Washtenaw. I think we have about 3/4 of the election day vote coming in now.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So this, when we last checked in, this was sitting a little bit north of this. So what did the most recent vote look like?
So the most recent batch, like I said, I think it was mostly election day. I'm just loading it up right now. El-Sayed wins it 66-31, basically.
Okay, it was all election day vote.
Primarily. There was some other mix in there. But remember earlier I mentioned some of those counties, or some of those precincts in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti that had zeros. Those now have numbers. So we're just filling in.
We're getting election day vote from Ann Arbor in here.
Yes.
And how much actual just mail do we have?
Our current estimate for just mail, let me take a look.
And what this means statewide, I'll show folks, adding that big batch. We just doubled the vote in Washtenaw County. It takes us to 5% statewide. Again, what's driving this is what you're looking at right there. These, we got some Saginaw. Okay, it's only a couple hundred votes here. It's not big enough. This is when you get sort of a scattering. So that is, let's not lose sight of Saginaw, because that becomes significant as we get more right there. But let's go back to Washington.
16% of our estimated mail vote.
16% of the vote by mail, and what share of the election day vote estimated is in?
77%.
Okay, so the one thing you would say is the by vote type here, what's counted so far is much more from the El-Sayed side, favorable type of vote, than it is from the Stevens type of vote. So, you know, she was running at about 28% when we got that first batch in. Again, with election day vote, which is not her best, she popped that up to 30. She needs big numbers in vote by mail. Again, we showed you the past establishment candidates in this county have been in the mid-40s. She just got it up to 30.0%. There is a fair amount of vote by mail to come right there, and I think that's the big question, Adam. It's really not just more vote in Washtenaw, but you know, when we get vote by mail, if that number, if it's coming in at some kind of a rate that's going to move that needle for Stevenson. That's Washtenaw.
We did get another report out of Eaton. We're now half in Eaton overall.
Okay, and now now Stevens has moved up a bit here. Did we just get some vote by mail?
Yeah, she won this most recent batch. I'm trying to take a look. Let's see what we can see. It looks like, yes, this was mostly mail.
Okay. So with half the vote in Eaton County, we can go deep here because we don't have a ton. Let me ask it this way. Of the expected vote by mail, how much has been counted in Eaton?
I see this is right now 24%, a quarter.
Okay, about a quarter of the expected vote by mail. And of the election day vote, how much?
89% is what I have in my
So this is interesting. Okay, so this is heavily skewed towards El-Sayed friendly vote. I don't know if you have the number in front of you, but the vote by mail was running Stevens plus 5.5 before. Have we got any more that's changed that?
In specifically in Eaton?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 59-34 in the mail vote.
She's now winning it by 25 points.
Yes.
So we got a significant new amount of vote by mail.
I think we just had a few votes before, and now we have more, and it broke heavily in her favor. Yes.
Okay. Well, now that's very interesting, because now the picture for Stevens is getting a little bit more favorable here in Eaton County. Put those numbers back up on the screen. Remember, Whitmer, this was the outlier area for Whitmer, where she was just performing much better than most Democrats because it's her home area. But it was 52% in Eaton was the Biden number, and 44% was the Hillary Clinton 2016 number. 41% is Stevens' number here. Yes.
We just got some City of Detroit and Wayne, like 4,000 votes just came in.
Okay, City of Detroit. Now, Detroit has typically put vote by mail out first.
Yeah, let me see what's tabulated here in the system.
Okay, while you're doing that, let me set the scene in Wayne, because I said there was one place on the map that stood out as where Stevens might be able to improve dramatically over Whitmer, and it is right here in Wayne County. In the 2018 gubernatorial primary, in the 2018 gubernatorial primary, Whitmer got 44% of the vote in Wayne County, okay? That was considerably lower than how Hillary Clinton did in 2016. Clinton got 60% of the vote. Why did Clinton do so well and Whitmer so, really, she struggled. This was one of her worst counties in the state in 2018. Clinton, if you remember that primary with Sanders, was doing extremely well with black voters. She was beating Sanders 90-10, things like this, among black voters nationwide. This included Wayne County. Wayne County, biggest city by far, Detroit. Detroit is 3/4 black. Hillary
Like this is good.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's nice and cool too. We'll just stay.
If you guys want to bowl,
We're not trying to bowl. It's fine. All right, I need to lock in, and I need to look at.
yeah, if you guys want to bowl.
No, we do not want to bowl. I promise. Thank you.
You guys should be good to go back. If there's any issues, text.
Yeah. We have the all backstage pass and everything, and I think this is fine, right?
That lets you guys go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's look at what's going on. Let's analyze the situation.
That was quite a marathon, bro.
I know. What's up?
I'm pointing at that one.
Yeah. Okay. We got final New York Times numbers on the Haley Stevens versus Abdul El-Sayed. 6 outside groups spent $62 million for Stevens, giving her a 9-to-1 spending advantage over Abdul. Half of that Stevens spend, $32 million out of the $62 million, came from AIPAC Super PAC. AIPAC Super PAC spent more than any single group has in a federal Democratic primary this cycle, a historic amount, a record-breaking amount of money that was spent in this race alone against Abdul El-Sayed. So if you're looking at the situation and if you're wondering why the numbers are getting tighter, this is a big part of the reason why. I think overall it's still fairly, it's still looking pretty good. Okay, what's going on? I know. There's so much. I just needed to get away from everything that was going on because it's so crazy.
You were bombarded.
I know. I mean, it's expected. I mean, that's how it was always. That's how it was at the Zoran party as well.
That was wild.
Yeah.
It's way more intense in person, obviously. I don't think chat understands how intense that is.
$62 million, man. Heart Soul Gray. Heart Soul Gray results coming in. Oh my God, the internet is so dog shit in here. Heart Soul Gray is in a close second with 12,900 votes against Jordan Herrera, who's in the lead at 30.5%. That's looking pretty good. It seems at 66%. Not sure what that race is going to end up looking like at the end, but still very exciting.
I have 5 bars if you want to get this.
CNN is talking about you again. Hartzell had a great dump earlier. Yeah. This is a dry event. Mentioned on CNN. Bernie just defended you on CNN. Nice. Bernie is answering questions about you live on CNN. Bernie said Hasan does radio, Lamau. That's Unk. That's Unk. That's Unk. That's Grand Unk. That's Grand Unk. It is what it is. It is what it is. Bernie defended you. 12.6% of the precincts reporting Abdul still in the lead with 51%, 194,000 votes. We'll continue sending chat updates for my fellow Michiganders. Not even podcast radio. Basically called you a talking head, not wrong. That's okay. That's cool. Shit's getting too close. I know. I don't like it. It's too close to comfort. So, if you're wondering what this is Zachary Danino of Voter Hub. Why is the race not called yet? / what keeps Stevens alive? Stevens is doing much better in mail-in ballots, which have been lagging behind a bit in reporting. She's doing well enough in these small / mid-sized counties to where winning Detroit by a lot would pull her close. Stevens has started to hit her targets to win in a couple places. That's the reason. Yeah, we're not showing anything. Yeah, oh wait, are they gonna pass through here? Okay, yeah, we'll put the camera down. Here, I'll put it on a BRB screen. No, they're coming right now. I'll put it on a BRB screen. Yeah, point it that way.
Can we get focus good?
Okay, we're back. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. I mean, the slips look pretty good for Abdul.
Yeah?
The ones that I'm getting, they look decent for Donovan and pretty good for Abdul. But ultimately, God, I wish I was. I really can't monitor the situation as well as I would like to. As well as I would fucking like to. Yeah, Michigan 7 Democratic primary shaping up to be one of those two people's egos and campaign consultants cause a lefty candidate to win the primary situation and essentially must flip district for Democrats, says Adam Carlson. He's, of course, talking about William Lawrence, who's doing very well, at least in the last polls that I saw. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, Haley Stevens is putting together a stronger than expected showing across rural and small town Michigan. The race remains too close to call, but those margins are worth watching, says Midas Touch. Of course, still, the situation. This is Abdul's race to lose at this point. You would much rather be in the El-Sayed camp right now, but Stevens, in the initial numbers that came out, Haley Stevens' chances looked disastrous, especially because of the mixed results that we were looking at. I think the confusion came from the fact that we thought those were early ballots. Abdul doing very well in the early ballots. Led everyone to get really excited early on. However, Stevens is actually caught up because of the way that they're calculating the mixed ballots, like both the mail-in ballots and the early vote with same-day voting. But Haley Stevens is actually outperforming expectations in rural areas, and that is the reason why, if she can run up the numbers in Wayne County, like we said earlier, if she can get like a super, super wide margin in Wayne County, which is, Detroit, Wayne County, like that's 20% of the vote overall, I think, or 22% of the vote overall, like the total vote overall. It would make Abdul's chances a lot worse. So once again, I say stop the count. But right now it's 51% at 210,748 votes for El-Sayed and 45% at 187,917 for Haley Stevens. Check Will Lawrence is getting close. Are mail-in ballots usually cast by younger voters? No. There are no rural voters in Wayne County. What? No, I'm not talking about Wayne County when I say rural. Bro, why are you so close to my face, David? What is happening?
The microphone seemed, for some reason, was struggling.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a bad result that came out of Midland, it seems. Ellis Bates. Wait, where the f*** is this? What? Very poor result for El-Sayed in Midland. Stevens is winning the election day vote there by nearly 20 points, while El-Sayed carried the early vote by roughly the same margin, plus 24.
Oh, it's the fan.
What?
Don't worry about it. It's fixed.
Oh, you were picking up outside noises?
Yeah. I said turn turn on phantom power.
El-Sayed hit his marks early in Kent County and Washtenaw, while Stevens was only decent in Oakland. But Stevens run very well across rural and small town Michigan over the past 45 minutes. My current read says Zachary Danini is El-Sayed +8, but uncertainty with so little from Wayne. So that's the real problem here, is that Wayne County will be the decisive factor here. The black vote will literally be the decisive factor in this race. Obviously, Haley Stevens is expected to win the black vote or the Wayne County vote in general, but by how much? Meanwhile, I think Donovan is doing pretty well. Midland is where Dow is. I'm not surprised by that. Look, let's just say you don't want to be relying on that. Like that's not a very good situation to be in, if we're being honest, for Abdul El-Sayed, but I don't think it's going to get there, so it's fine. Meanwhile, here's some good news. Donovan McKinney, who I stumped for literally super aggressively in the last couple of days, with 7% of the expected votes in, Donovan McKinney is actually in a almost 20-point lead over the incumbent Shri Tanadar. Donovan McKinney has 5,367 votes to Shri Tanadar's 3,643. That's 59.6 to 40.4%. So that is where we're at. Let's go to Karnacki Cam and see what Karnacki is saying. The environment at Haley Stevens camp is not great, by the way.
These are the big population centers here. Really big numbers for her down in Wichita, where Sedgwick County is, and so she.
Dog, we don't care about Kansas. We don't care about Kansas. Come on.
On the Republican side, Ty Masterson endorsed by Trump. This is the story we've seen in so many Republican primaries. Trump endorses. Trump gets his candidate in Kansas. On the Democratic side, I think you said Laura Kelly, Democratic governor, sided with Corson in this. Does not get her candidate.
Which is so interesting because she has gangbusters popularity in the state of Kansas. I mean, I think she's one of the top 10, most popular, like highest approval rating governors in the country, and had thrown that weight behind Ethan Corson, who was very happy to talk about that when he was on the campaign trail. The other piece of this too, Kansas hasn't elected a Democratic senator, I think, since the 30s, but it is one of 5 states that is represented by a Democratic governor, in the state that Donald Trump ended up winning, Steve. So there does seem to be some interesting dynamics at play. I feel like if the theme of the night is you can't paint with a broad brush, right? Like this maybe is part and parcel. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think one thing we've seen is gubernatorial races can kind of
my God. Kansas, bro.
Oh, here we go.
All right. Oh, nice. Phone stream. Why is it so close? I don't want to stress. I'm from Wichita, Kansas, and I care about this. Okay, but we're in the headquarters right now in Michigan. This is the race. Sanders talking about you. Hold on, I'll pull it up on my own. Here, someone send me the link to Bernard talking about me. David, step back. That's what they're saying. Why are you so close?
I'm sorry.
What is happening?
I got feedback to be closer.
Wait, what do you mean? Because you can't hear or something?
No, just in general, to be closer. But maybe I got one guide.
Very controversial streamer Hasan Piker was at one of El-Sayed's final events. The two did a stream together, a fairly lengthy stream. I know that you've spoken to Hasan Piker in the past, but are you comfortable with El-Sayed having a close association with him, given some of his past statements? To give you an example, one of the more controversial ones is that Piker has said America deserved 9/11. Are you comfortable with that association?
No, I am not. I think that's a dumb statement. On the other hand, he has a whole lot of followers, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that are making sense to a lot of people. I think, we have to get above cancel culture. When you're doing radio, whatever they do, podcast,
radio,
you say dumb things. I suspect if you go back over your career, there may be 1 or 2 things that you said that you may have regretted. But I think what we have got to do is look at the totality of where people are coming from and go forward. Here with Joe. Yeah, Joe Lozier out of Region 1.
That is so funny. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I don't know what to say about that. Oh my God. That's Burn Dog, man. What? Oh, Chaz Frozen is fine. But all right, where are we at? Give me some updates, man. It's likely that this race will come down to Wayne County Election Day votes. Stevens is doing extremely well in rural Michigan relative to expectation that a good Wayne result could allow her to win this primary. Keep watching Vote Hub coverage throughout the night. I will end it all. I will end it all. So there's a Stevens with a plus 53 mail drop from Detroit. Oh my God, another one of Stevens County's. That is not good. That is not a good result at all. Another one of Stevens' strongest counties is St. Joseph, where she's only losing the election day by 1.5%. She's winning the mail by 16, which is most of what is remaining. And from her stronger areas in the counties, where it is a head-to-head matchup with Abdul at 46%, Haley Stevens at 48%. Okay, Mallory McMorrow, unironically, is a little bit of a spoiler in like many of these places as well, which is crazy that people were still like they didn't spoil their ballots and then recast them, or maybe they did and they did it for Haley Stevens, who knows? But
Whoa.
Aisha Faruqi is what's wrong?
Fix it. Focus is going crazy.
Aisha Faruqi is not doing well in Michigan U.S. House District 11 Democratic primary with 64% reported. Jeremy Moss is at 49%. I mean, she's close, but I don't know if she makes the distance there. Also, with 16% reported at Michigan's U.S. House District 7 Democratic primary, William Lawrence is still at 41.9%. Bridget Brink is actually at 30%, and Matt Mazdam is at 27.9%. This is one of those races where both of the establishment Democrat candidates actually tried to outcompete one another. And because they tried to outcompete one another, that ended up opening a free lane for Will Lawrence. But yeah, Abdul El-Sayed is hitting his margins pretty much everywhere across the state, but it's not enough to call the race, unfortunately, especially not without more votes from Wayne County. But we shall see what happens when Wayne County results keep getting dumped. And unfortunately, that big dump that I just gave you guys, the Stevens plus 53 male Detroit, that number is devastating, and it turns it into an actual competitive race. All of a sudden, it turns it into a race where Haley Stevens does have a fairly good chance. Yeah, Haley Stevens is outperforming the polls by significant margins right now in Michigan. In a lot of the rural districts, it's not looking too great. Stevens is at 66 to Abdul's 30 in Detroit, bruh. No, that's not that bad. That's not as bad as you think it is. Big dump for Abdul, let's go. Okay, it depends on where it's coming from. Like Abdul getting big pushes from different places is great, and it makes things exciting, but you have to look at, where Abdul is performing. Isn't he outperforming expectations? And it does look like it's going to be a very long night if this continues as it's. Hold on. God, this is. University of Michigan voters an hour ago had a 100% El-Sayed precinct. Hold on. It's so crazy because they were talking about how there's so much excitement at the Abdul El-Sayed event and there's none at the Haley Stevens event. And it's kind of funny because it doesn't mean anything. As I was telling that other reporter as well, Thomas Massey had a lot of excitement around him, but it didn't matter at the end of the day because the guy that didn't even campaign was able to coast into a victory with a Donald Trump endorsement and a
ton of money from Israel. I still think Abdul is obviously going to, I still have hope that Abdul is going to win this race. Having said that, it is a ton, like an unbelievable amount of life-changing amount of money overall. But, it's good to be calm in this moment. For the record, Haley Stevens overall still did a fairly decent job of like not even doing outreach to the Black community necessarily, but just simply saying over and over again that she got like nodding to the Obama endorsement that she didn't actually receive. And that is enough for like a lot of boomers to vote for him or for her. But that was, but Wesley Bell has defeated former Representative Cori Bush in the Missouri Democratic primary rematch in St. Louis. Turns out maybe money does actually play a significant role over the many. It don't even matter, at least in that race. All right, let's continue. Al-Sayed is taking the lead in Bay County, currently ahead by 6 points. Very little vote reported. The initial drop by Stevens leading by roughly 15 points. Grand Rapids City election day comes in big for El-Sayed, but now it is done. Ann Arbor is close to done as well. So El-Sayed has his lead back, but these are a couple of his strongest areas that are done. Dearborn does remain, but like I said, it is definitely with the Stevens plus 53 mail-in ballot from Detroit. The more we see from Detroit, the more the night will shape out. But Abdul's strongest areas are close to being done, with the exception of Dearborn. Stevens is only leading by 2 points in her home county with 60% of the vote in, which is kind of crazy. Where like Abdul El-Sayed is at 47% an hour ago, whereas Haley Stevens is at 49.7%, which I think is also interesting. It's a testament to the fact that even in Haley Stevens' supposed stronghold, Abdul El-Sayed still had a fairly strong showing. But like I said, the good story, so far the good story of tonight is definitely Donovan McKinney. But yeah. So Stevens needed a roughly 55 point win in Detroit absentee, and she got 54. So it's actually that's what's like giving a lifeline to Haley Stevens right now, especially considering that Abdul El-Sayed had his strongest showing areas already, which is why he has what's the current numbers right now? Let's see. Wait, Donovan is down? Donovan McKinney is losing? What the? I don't think Donovan is. I don't think Donovan is going to be. I don't think the Donovan McKinney race is going to look bad at the end of the day. But Haley Stevens is 4 points behind Abdul El-Sayed on the New York Times results currently, with Abdul El-Sayed at 50% exactly, and Haley Stevens trailing behind at 46.5%. Mallory McMorrow at 3%. Only 34% of the votes have been reported thus far.
Feels good over here.
Kornacki camp showing me more good signs. Hold on. Will Lawrence, New York Times says Will Lawrence back up at 14, plus 14. Does Abdul need 50% to prevent a runoff? No. How can it be this close? The average voter is so stupid, it doesn't matter. Hartzell Gray is close, but down by 800 with 12,000 left. I think since a whole bunch of votes came in for Stevens in Detroit, a whole bunch of votes came in for Shree as a result, since the candidates are interchangeable. No, there's a lot of split ticket voters that voted for Haley Stevens and voted for Donovan McKinney. That's crazy.
Everything okay? Oh, I think okay, I love you.
Decision desk has Hartzell losing. Low key, why do I get the feeling a bunch of people will go, oh, I didn't know you could only vote yesterday, tomorrow? I mean, that's always the case. Remember, guys, we have been unbelievably tapped in to this primary for months at this point, right? For months and months. And our perspective is not a shared one, okay? The average American, the average normie, and I saw this with like the canvassing operations that we did as well, the normies that, like, there are so many normies who don't give a shit at all. The type of people that go out and vote, the type of people who are excited to go out and vote are usually nerds, in the primaries especially. We're talking about the midterm elections, right? We're talking about the midterm elections and a primary for a midterm election for a Senate race. Most people are not, you know, civic minded in general. And I think a part of that is because, you know, people don't have anything to vote for. People are not all that excited. And boomers are the most powerful force as far as like maintaining status quo politics. And boomers literally see mailers and they see television ads and they hear about the dangers of voting for a scary Muslim man. And they you know, they get their notes from people like that. Unfortunately, it's not. Is Hasan just hanging out at a bar? No, I'm just chilling because I wanted to go somewhere quiet so I could, like, you know, analyze the results instead of doing a constant sea of like media slash interviews slash a photo shoot. Yeah, I'm in a bowling alley. Steve Kornacki thinks it's going terribly for Stevens. I don't know what numbers he's looking at, but I'm not looking at numbers that look. Maybe Steve Kornacki might be thinking it's going terribly for Stevens because he probably thought it was a lock for Stevens, maybe, but I'm doubtful. Haley is up 69-27 in Detroit, E-Day pending. Abdul closes the gap, but Haley still wins the E-Day vote, at least with this 57,000 votes that are in. With E-Day pending, guys. You were too confident, Haas? Oh no, for sure. For sure. Of course I was confident. I'm still confident. I'm worried that Jinsey might want to vote, but literally don't know how. Okay, that's crazy. Anyway. By the way, this is also part of the reason why when people were like, dude, why the f*** are you going to Michigan? It's a lock for Abdul. I was like, remember? I kept saying it's a lot of money that they're spending and it's a very important race. This is why I was here. New York Times showing 50-47 for Abdul. Abdul at plus 36 in Lansing. Is it too late to vote? Yeah, if you're still in line to vote, stay in line to vote. Yeah. Associated Press showing Abdul at 49.8% with Haley Stevens at 46.5%. So she's definitely inching along. But ultimately, that boomer electability argument is mint still. It is genuinely the most powerful. It is legitimately the most powerful force for boomers. It's actually kind of crazy. Why does Stevens have such an advantage in Detroit anyway? Obama mailers. AIPAC dumped $34 million into this race. And they just mass blasted mailers that suggested that Haley Stevens had gotten an Obama endorsement, and that was it. It was a wrap. That's why. Like, literally, there's nothing else to show for, like, there's no, if you were to ask people, like, why the f they voted for Haley Stevens, they would literally, they kept repeatedly saying, oh, because Obama trusts her. That's it. Lying is OP. Yeah. This is how they took out Thomas Massie. Why would they change? Because this is the Democratic Party's primary. Because it's the Democratic Party's primary. That's why it's different. And it has been different so far. I mean, look at the sequence of victories that we've achieved, where we've unseated incumbents. The problem here is Obama got involved in Iowa. Why not here? Dog. I don't think you want Obama to be involved in this race, because I don't know if Obama would have endorsed Abdul El-Sayed in this race. Kernacki saying it. Lawrence called. Decision desk is called Michigan 7 for William Lawrence, ladies and gentlemen. So there's the first good news of the night. Out of the slate, the Donovan McKinney, William Lawrence, and Abdul El-Sayed slate. That's the first W of the night, according to Decision Desk. Dearborn remains. I really hate Abe was wrong. I'm worried about an underperformance coming out of Dearborn, chat. Yeah. I think a lot of people are overestimating Dearborn turnout. I hope I'm wrong. The only reason why I'm saying that is because of, like, what I've heard from, people I know.
What are you doing here?
I'm going through the results. The good for El-Sayed, he has a lead right now, says Zachary Danina of Vote Hub. The bad for him, his best vote in Kent has already been reported, Grand Rapids City. He should also go down vote share in Ingham and Washtenaw as counting continues and as more absentees come in. El-Sayed's current 35-point lead in Kent looked strong, but Grand Rapids proper is mostly done reporting. Stevens could still gain ground in the suburban and rural areas of the county, the types of places where she has outperformed expectations across the state tonight. There's still pollsters out there that are predicting a double-digit win for Abdul in spite of the current performance, so we shall see how correct they are. Also, Bernie Sanders, not comfortable with El-Sayed's ties to Hasan Piker, got misconstrued. I'm pretty sure he meant, like, he's not comfortable with what, like, the statement was, and not necessarily, like, he literally did not say that he was uncomfortable with Abdul El-Sayed's ties to me. He was saying he was uncomfortable with the statement. But I think people misunderstood the way he said it. I can't believe how close it is. But yeah. Wayne County, right now. No, never mind. But yeah, some of the good signs so far is, like I said, Stevens' own county, where Abdul is actually performing fairly well, as opposed to Stevens just like cooking up the numbers. But yeah, once again, it's all gonna get down to Detroit. It gets down to how hard Stevens is going to dominate in Detroit. The fewer there's election day ballots, the better it is for Stevens. Deep. Well, hold on, wait here. Yeah. Here, come give us some updates on what you think is going on. All right.
I was trying to get my laptop in here.
Give us the good and the bad.
Well, so Nate's here. He's an expert on losing, and we're experts on winning. So
yeah, that's cool. Okay.
I got a picture of losers earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, can I put it this way?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so if you look right now, New York Times is from what their pre-projections was at versus where it's at now. El-Sayed is up in rural.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine.
But I thought Haley Stevens was actually overperforming expectations in a lot of like these small towns across the state.
So she has overperformed right now in the early vote that's come in for Detroit. She's up 30 points right now for Detroit.
Yeah, but she's supposed to be running up numbers in Detroit. That's expected.
Yeah, in the early vote.
Yeah.
It was actually interesting. We were knocking doors today, and as we were knocking doors, we met several people who were Stevens Donovan supporters. And you're actually seeing that kind of come out right now where, Shuri's only up by 7 in Wayne County, and she's up 30 in Wayne County.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of that crossover. But you have to imagine there's, Stevens, Donovan voters exist.
Yeah,
but
well,
do
for
Abdul,
sure.
Shiri, Theander voters exist?
I don't think so.
I don't even know what that person would be like.
Yeah,
They would be at this party theoretically, right? So we could ask around, did you vote for Shri?
Yeah, did you vote for Shri Thanadar?
So that seems optimistic. I should just go ask if there's any Indian folks out there about that. So that makes you have to believe that the last votes that come out that's going to be better for Abdul in Wayne County are also going to be much better for Donovan. Like if he has that crossover about like 10, 15, 20% with Stevens in the first vote.
That's what we were trying to do with our canvas, up and down for Donovan McKinney was like trying to peel voters off from Haley Stevens that were like Haley Stevens to Donovan McKinney voters, black voters.
So we were actually canvassing with a bunch of creators today. As we were canvassing, we just saw this woman on the side of the road. And we saw that she had a Donovan McKinney road. We're like, yeah, Abdul and Donovan. She's like, I'm not voting for Abdul. And we're like, why is that? And it was interesting is she kind of was almost parodying in some ways anti-Muslim talking points, which I thought was like, didn't see it coming. I mean, in the car was like a Jewish person, like a Hispanic person, a white person, and then me. And then she kept looking at me, and she's like, well, what are you all? I'm like, I'm Indian. She's like, okay, that's cool. But it was interesting is like, she was like, I feel that Arabs are given more attention with people than the black community is. And she was echoing his talking points you would almost see from like a Steve Bannon or a Tucker Carlson or a Candace Owens. So I do think there was something happening that she was diehard Donovan, but not at all for Abdul. And in fact, like very negative on Abdul.
Yeah, I mean, there's a barrage of attack ads. So, but none of that is useful.
Okay.
What I want is data. What I hunger for, what I yearn for, is the number. Okay.
The numbers that you should look for right now is that he's overperforming in rural areas based on what he should have been at, and he's okay in the smaller cities and the suburbs. If Haley wins, it's because she actually did better in the cities than expected. Like, if Abdul does as well as progressives do in cities, then he's fine. If not, then we have...
So it comes down to...
Well, then we have a problem because, ironically, the reason why people think Michigan is a swing state isn't because of the cities, right? People are like, oh, you can win in New York City. You can win in Denver. You can win
Yeah, my
in
numbers
cities.
guy is saying he's not really overperforming rurals. And the opposite is happening. But that's what I thought, too. My assumption is actually Haley Stevens is overperforming in rules, like way above expectations.
Well, I was going based on what the New York Times data was. So we can blame this man here for his colleagues, New York Times.
He doesn't work for the New York Times.
Oh, Post.
No, not the New York Post.
What are you?
None of those. It's one of those New York.
It's just New York something.
Yeah.
He's gonna go through them all.
Don't worry about it. It's one of them bi-coastal elites.
Yeah.
I
don't understand. Like
okay.
I feel like I'm far more nervous than Steve Kornacki is right now, and I don't understand why. What?
Who's he rooting for?
Well, I don't know who he's rooting for, but he keeps saying that like Stevens is getting destroyed, and I don't think Stevens is getting destroyed at all. I am looking at, I guess, a very different interpretation of the night's events, where like the early votes or like the early results that they released, I thought were actually incredible for Abdul, not because Abdul was like leading, but because Abdul was leading in what we thought were actually the mail-in ballots, which is why I thought, oh, it's a wrap, it's over. But it turns out it was mixed results, which I don't even understand why they're doing that.
Ann Arbor came in huge at the beginning.
Yeah, well, that stuff is fine. That's expected. That's expected. I'm talking about like counties that Haley Stevens was supposed to be overperforming in. Abdul was actually leading in some instances, and I don't know if it was just because of the mixed results, weighing some non-mail-in ballot, like non-absentee ballots more.
Well, here's one of the things. Look, Wayne County's reporting in more right now. So Wayne County, when they first hit that huge drop, Stevens was up plus 30. Now she's up plus 28. So it looks like that's going to eke back. And if it does eke back in those trends, it's hard to imagine.
I just don't know how to weigh them right now. I don't know if it's literally...
If it's just like mail-in ballots or it's actually E-Day or not.
Yeah.
Where's Oakland County?
Everything is coming down to Wayne, and that's the reason why I am still optimistic but very nervous overall, because Wayne is the worst possible area. Like, so it's going to come down to how much Haley Stevens is going to run up the numbers in Wayne County, where there was a tremendous amount of impact from AIPAC spending and a tremendous amount of, mailers, like the fake Obama endorsement, like that plays a huge role in Wayne County. And that's the reason why I am not feeling as confident as everyone else has been so far. That's my assessment. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
I do think we were overconfident. I mean, like, how many canvases did we go to this week where people were like, don't worry about Abdul, it's all about Donovan in the down ballot? Like, we would still carry Abdul lit, but the conversations we were having were for Donovan and Abraham. Ayaz. Actually, I didn't even check how his race. Do I want to check how he's doing? Did you meet Abraham?
Yes, I love Abraham, but his chances were not looking too great from what I understand. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm...
I don't know how he's doing the down ballot.
Yeah, he got a shit ton of money spent against him.
Yeah.
$1 million for a state senate race?
Yeah, for a state senate race, it was like an unprecedented amount.
I forgot what his...
Yeah, absentee plus early plus E-Day for Grand Rapids broke 69% of 27 for Abdul El-Sayed, and that's it. Like, that's his. But those are his best performing. Those are going to be his best performing districts.
Right now, Oakland County, that's home to Stevens's district. That has 76% reporting right now. She's up 2%.
That's good.
So
there are areas where Abdul is definitely.
So if she's carrying her home county by 2%, but right now Wayne County is just about 24% reporting, and she's up 30%. You could see the pendulum swing. That's going to be more like that. It would be. Here's the thing: if Haley Stevens wins, it's because she massively overperformed Detroit, which means we really have a problem. We got to figure out actually how to tackle money in politics in cities that we thought we already had figured out. But yeah. I think it's just Wayne County's slow right now.
Well,
in Colorado we had all this called by 7:05.
I know. That's why it's so annoying, because like. Yeah, I just I don't feel confident. I mean, I'm nervous for sure. I still feel like Abdul's going to win, but I don't like that it's going to come down to it's going to come down to do you know? Yeah, okay, sure.
He was part of the Movement House.
Yeah.
District 1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ayash is down, but it's 30% reporting too. But that'd be a big swing for him in order to.
What's up, brother?
What's up, man? I'm all right. How about yourself?
Nice to meet you. Heard a lot of good things. Friend of Mohsen Mahdawi, Columbia University. Cool. Set up the Movement House. We're all you stop by, man. But we did a nice little pilot run. These gentlemen were also part of the Movement House. They didn't stay with us, but
I've been up and down and flying around too. I was in Wisconsin the other day, so
I hear it's going good in Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's going good, but sometimes things going good doesn't necessarily mean anything. The only poll that matters is on election day.
That's true. That's why I never look at polls. We just all foot on the pedal. Just I think we need more disciplined organizers. There's been a culture of organizing and just it's just chill, let's just chill, hang out. This is not about like having a good time. Like their lives on the line. People are dying every day.
Yeah.
Right? The future of our planet, the ecosystems are at risk. Like literally like to the brink of extinction almost, right? So it's like we gotta be like taking this so seriously. I see people just chillaxing and chit-chatting. We gotta be out there campaigning like no tomorrow. And that's what frustrates me as an organizer. Movement discipline. I've been organizing 10 years since Bernie 2016 was a delegate. And I've seen some folks who've come into the movement and they're just like, they're just taking it easy. I'm like, we can't take our foot off the gas. No way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Freddie, you did? Oh, I was supposed to stroke my beard, actually.
Oh,
that's what I was supposed to do.
So, you're going to come back to the People's Forum at some point, right? We're going to do something
For
like
sure.
Columbia next time?
Yeah, for sure. We'll talk all about it.
I called NYPD.
We'll talk all about it at a totally different time if that's possible.
Yeah,
right now is probably the worst possible time to talk about this stuff. I promise.
That's
okay?
fair.
I'm down. Yeah. No, definitely.
Here's the upshot on the data, though.
What?
This is what I think. 76% reporting for Oakland County. Home of Stevens District, the wealthy district, more conservative leaning. She's up 2%. Wayne County is only reporting 23%, and she was up 30, and now she's only up 28. As those new votes come in, Wayne County will trend a little bit more. He already has the upper hand, so he should be fine closing it out.
Oakland County, so far 70,000 Dem absentee ballots returned. All of the ED is in. We are expecting around 120K, says Zachary Danini. So we're thinking Stephen has a 15K margin left out of Oakland since she's winning absentees by 30% right now, but it depends where they are from.
We have 60K. So all of E-Day got counted first in Oakland.
Yeah.
So he's winning huge in Oakland for E-Day.
The prediction market still have him at 85.
The prediction markets I have never looked at because it's the most irrelevant point of data. I mean, it's fine for...
It's a vibe check.
It's fine for momentum if you want to fucking believe it, but I think it's a crock of shit. I'll tell you why it's a crock of shit. Every single time I've actually done something with a candidate, I will immediately see the prediction market shoot up. And I don't have that kind of emotion. So there's clearly people who are like, oh, this is going to happen again. Like, it's just, they have no disrespect to Harry Emden. Okay, Harry Emden, no disrespect. But like, I think it's his most bunk.
You personally skew the prediction markets because you've gotten involved with racism.
Yes, and I think that for me is literally like an indication that there's no reason to look at prediction markets. I think a lot of people have this tendency to assume that like I overestimate or I think I'm responsible for candidates winning or whatever. Like, I actually have the exact opposite opinion on myself, which is why when I see that kind of shit from Kalshi or Polymarket, I'm like, yeah, these guys don't know what the is going on. There's no reason to look at this. It's not reliable at all.
The thing that I like about the vibes market, which really is what it feels like, is oftentimes it's actually more generous towards progressives than mainstream media is. Like, even when Malot was clearly winning the ground game, clearly like winning like local support and winning the county assembly, every single consultant, every single media company was like, nope, she has no chance. Nope, she has no chance. But it was on Kalshi that she was up. Like, the vibes market was there. So it does feel like, oh, look, there's some metric.
I think that's not. That's
the vibe market?
That's definitely not reliable data.
I'm not sure if it's reliable, but it's a data point out of like 20 data points.
Okay. I mean, if you...
We're going to go research some more data.
You want to know something? Like, Zara Mamdani was losing to Andrew Cuomo on betting markets on the night of the election. And so was Daria Liza. So, like, it's very clear that... and they
He's back up 50.
They had far... Yeah, that doesn't mean anything right now. They had far better ground game. They had far better ground game. Both Daria Liza and Zoran had far better ground game than Andrew Cuomo did, but the betting markets were wrong. So I think it's a swing and a miss. I would never look at that. Wayne County spread is now sub 20%. Abdul gains big in Wayne County election day.
Yeah, it just went from 30% to 20%.
Abdul stems the bleeding in Oakland. He cuts into the Wayne gap. He has Genesee County largely outstanding, UAW area, Kalamazoo County also outstanding by 85%. This is a position that I would prefer to have a 15,000 vote lead right now than attempting to come back.
Mallory McMorrow also with 3.7%.
Great, yeah,
Why
I know.
can't that for the margin?
I hear Mallory McMorrow is stable. Please God. Okay, but yeah, that's a good point. Look, Wayne County, and the fact that it's gone from 20 30% to 28% to 20% as that vote comes in.
Yeah.
It is also, it's interesting that Michigan just counts ballots in a random order. They just stir them into a pot. Let me tell you, in Colorado, though, we count them in order. You know, first come, first serve.
Will Lawrence winning.
Will Lawrence get called.
Will Lawrence getting called is good, but it doesn't even matter. It literally, there is no ballot organizing for some weird goddamn reason in Michigan, it seems. I mean, with the Donovan McKinney race, you have like literal split ticket voters that voted for Haley Stevens and then Donovan McKinney, because like there's racial dynamics at play in that race. Obviously, it kind of makes sense, but like, I don't know. I don't understand.
Can we appreciate the moderates splitting the vote in Will Lawrence's district, though?
Yeah, that was great. That was great. That is great. But you know, no moderate split in this one, and then also on top of that, $70 million the $70 million is making itself be known in very meaningful ways right now, for sure.
For sure. The most expensive Democratic primary of all time?
I think so.
Senate primary, probably.
It's the most. It is. I forget what it was. I think it was the single. Like AIPAC was it broke records with the amount of spend that it put into this race. I believe it's like more than 32 million, and then the total spent. The final numbers were, I believe Abdul had 62 million spent against him just in the primary, with 32 or 34 million coming just from AIPAC.
It's gonna be close.
Yeah. I'm not as worried about Mike Rogers at all. I'm telling you right now, I said this before and everyone laughed at me. The primaries for left populist candidates is a harder race to win because the base is already excited. Once it's partisan, it's over. And left populist candidates have a tendency to pick up low propensity voters, even on like unlikely races. And that theory we haven't been able to really test at all, with some exceptions, but they don't really count. But that's the whole point. Like Bernie would have won. That's the Bernie would have won message. Is exactly like it would have been a wrap in 2016 if Bernie won. Michigan would not have gone to Donald Trump. So like the whole point is, as long as we can unite the entire Democratic Party, the high propensity voters, and like the party partisans, like the old boomers that are going to vote against Donald Trump, with young voters with an additional amount of youth turnout, youth excitement, low propensity voters overall, that only left populist candidates are capable of exciting, the Mike Rogers race is a wrap. But again, the Mike Rogers race probably would have been a wrap even with Haley Stevens as well. But I do think that Abdul El-Sayed, I told you not to laugh during the debate that it was possible with the endorsement from Whitmer, we're going to help her. I don't think these are Whitmer endorsements as much.
No.
I don't think this is, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think these are Whitmer endorsements that are helping Haley Stevens as much. I could be totally off base here. I think it's literally just a barrage of ads.
It looks like it's concentrated actually.
Especially considering that it's like more rural areas that they were able to beef up. Like Haley Stevens was able to outperform. I suspect that like, I guess the racialized animus.
Where are you getting that? I'm seeing that based on the benchmark.
My numbers guy. I have a numbers guy.
There's a numbers guy.
It's Vincent. It's Vincent.
Vincent. Oh, okay. Well, where is Vincent?
He's with Donovan.
Oh, Vincent's like out there with the computer just crunching it.
Yeah.
Mila and Chris Rabb just left for Donovan's too. You're here for the long haul.
I want to, like, if it were up to me, I already got here. But if it were up to me, I would go back to my hotel and look at the data. Because
do you want a Red Bull?
This is my, no, I'm fine. No, I'm on crack cocaine right now. Like I'm not remotely sleepy at all.
Yeah, I think he can.
Yeah. Poll update 24.4. Poll update 24.4% precinct supporting. Abdul still in the lead at 50% with 318,098 votes. Will continue updates. Stay strong, Michiganders.
There was definitely an overconfidence though. I think everybody was saying that Abdul was gonna smoke it.
What are we at for?
And almost like it was almost a detriment because I think
No, I don't think that like stopped people from going out and voting because they were like, oh, it's a wrap.
I think it didn't stop voters. I think it stopped people going to knock doors, phone bank, canvas. So they got this wrapped.
The reason why I was still here instead of doing anything else, which is what people were expecting me to do because they were like, it's a wrap already, but was because I did not underestimate the amount of money that was being spent against them. El-Sayed gaining 7.36 votes for every one Stevens receives in Dearborn. This is probably the bulk of his lead over Stevens statewide. Now we watch and see how close it gets. Up to 75% of Dearborn election day in, and it's a big margin for El-Sayed. But again, Dearborn is shaky. Like a lot of, remember what Abe said. Like a lot of Arabs don't vote. Apparently, it's a huge problem as far as like, well, from what I understand, a lot of the Arab population of Dearborn, especially in the primaries, are not here. They leave. They go to Iraq, they go to Syria, they go to Lebanon. They leave, so they're not here to vote regardless, and they don't send in absentee ballots from overseas.
What are we at for overall vote counting?
45%.
He'll have a bit more margin coming from Dearborn, and he'll have some Lansing City later in the night, but after that, it's a little unclear where he'll be gaining the vote. Abdul this is. But Stevens just gained 4K in an Oakland at AB drop, and there's probably 10K more margin there for her.
I just feel like Wayne County has to flip. Like Detroit itself. If Abdul loses Detroit, it's hard to imagine. I mean, I guess he could still win. But that's gonna have to clear. And that's still only 26% in. Historically, is it counted by midnight?
I just don't know how to interpret Michigan election results like I do for Utah.
Yeah.
I'm on easy mode. I'm on easy mode in Colorado.
You're right. I'm following UMich voter. Shout out.
He still blocked me though.
Why?
Yeah, I'm blocked by UMich voter.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Cobb Lundquist has officially lost the Michigan 1 primary, unfortunately, and it's not even close. I mean, Calibar put up 56.6% to his 33.8% in Michigan 1. That's funny. The UMich voter has blocked you.
Hey, UMich, I apologize. If you're a streamer or if you're a listener again.
I'll get to him.
I apologize. The real bellwether is Big Mara. Has she walked in yet? Because she said she was going to go to the victory party.
Yeah, but she was probably on the way to the Abdul event. And then she saw the results and was like, wait a minute, fuck that. Turn the car around.
Where's Haley's event? Just down the street?
Yeah. I mean, by the way, the biggest L of the night will go to the pollsters in general because this is like a double-digit miss. And I don't even understand how depending on how it turns out. Because it looks like it's turning out to be a real barn burner, a far closer race than what the pollsters were predicting. The pollsters had like plus 17, plus 15 across the board.
Small dump from Wayne County, a little bit more favorable for Abdul.
Okay. Oh, UMich voter is streaming.
Oh.
There you go.
I didn't even know that they streamed.
They have a space on Twitter.
Nate Silver defends the pollsters. A lot of those pollsters in Michigan are hurdy and or shitty, but it's a legit hard race to poll. Black voters, especially working class black voters, can be hard to reach. Young voters may be underrepresented in traditional surveys, but now we've mostly shifted to online panels. But yeah, you look at the polls and it's like, with the exception of Glenn Gariff at that's the other side of this. There's only one outlier poll and it's from Glenn Gariff, which is like kind of almost like an internal. It's from it was from the outlet that endorsed her. So that one was +7 for Haley Stevens. And then every other, like there's only one from Tavern Research that was +3 for Abdul El-Sayed. And every other poll is like Abdul El-Sayed +10, +11, +16, +14. Emerson College being like the most significant one at +16. Zenith at +19. which was obviously affiliated with Abdul's PAC. But regardless, like, there were a lot of internals that showed Abdul doing like almost plus 20. And then there were a lot of polls overall that still showed him at like a comfortable double digit, like outside of the margin of error victory.
Mitch voter feels good about it.
He does. Mitch voter was also.
He doesn't even live in Michigan.
He's in New Jersey.
No, he moved to Brooklyn now.
He moved to Brooklyn.
So he doesn't even live in New Jersey. He's from New Jersey. He went to University of Michigan. I know his backstory. He door knocked for Claire. He door knocked for Dottie Lisa.
Oh, that's dope. Well, what the hell did he block me for?
Yeah, because he was big. He was big in the pocket of Mallory McMorrow. He was a McMorrow warrior until it was Mick over, and then he very quickly became a Abdul El-Sayed guy.
Okay.
But that's what happened with Mitch voter.
This is really Mitch voter's day to shine, though. If there's any chance that anyone was looking at Michigan right now, for like a close race.
Stevens doesn't really have the same. Oh, Mitch is saying, I feel very good about Abdul. Stevens doesn't really have the same basket of heavy nuke votes left outside of Macomb. All right, let's see.
Oh, I can't jump on his stream because I'm still blocked. I was trying to.
Listen on my.
You want to hear what a Mitch voter has to say. Anyway. Senator Bernie Sanders predicts Abdul El-Sayed can win a general election in Michigan and says he'd pick Hasan Piker over James Carville for the Democratic Party if faced with the choice. My full interview. Bernie Sanders, why are they asking Unc about? Why are they asking Grand Unc about this shit? They literally were like, well, don't you think Abdul's affiliation with Hasan is bad?
Didn't he also say, like, I'm not even a part of the Democratic Party?
Yeah, he did say that. Yeah. But it is very funny that they're like, it's just like everything. They're literally like, we got to get this Hasan guy out of here. And it's so funny.
You and David Hogg can fight it out.
No, I think David is, he's also not a big fan of AIPAC either, which is a big no-no, obviously, in these circles. But it is very funny that, like, he's the safer option in comparison to someone like myself. He's not like a socialist or anything, but ultimately it still doesn't matter because he's also anti-Israel. So from their perspective, he's not any better. Like they're most people on this front are very single issue, and it's mostly just like Israel related.
I'm trying to find out the next drop for Wayne County. They don't like list them.
Zachary Danini says, prepare for a really late night. In 2024, Wayne County released big batches of ballots at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh my God.
These may prove to be decisive again at the rate we're going. I will die.
I will, maybe when this is called, I'll be on a flight to Denver. I'm going to have to pay the $8 for Wi-Fi.
Yeah. We'll have a bit more margin coming in from Dearborn, and he'll have some Lansing City later in the night, but after that, it's a little unclear where he will be gaining the vote. But Stevens just gained 4K in Oakland AB drop, and there's probably 10K more margin there for her. So it's going to get ever closer.
I love Audrey. She's the best.
Less than ideal angle for a second shot.
Do you want a Red Bull?
Vincent will be here soon.
Do you want a Red Bull?
No, I'm chewing caffeine.
What the dude, that's not good.
Oh, it's just one? It's my second one today.
Is it better than a Zen?
Right.
How's Donovan looking right now? Donovan?
No, it's the same. 27% reporting for his county too.
I mean, they're saying it's like they're feeling pretty good about.
That's the
Well, think about how much split vote came in, right? If Haley was up that massively, and then Donovan's right, so that again, you have to imagine what does an Abdul Shiri voter look like. Maybe we should start asking around. Like,
Okay.
I'm down to my last end.
Kornacki's doing the math on Wayne. You should watch. All right, let's tune into Mr. Khaki himself.
In the absentee, the vote by mail, she is leading in the election day vote. So again, that speaks to the. El-Sayed does better with election day votes, but we said, Stevens does so well in the polling, and it looks like this is happening in the actual election itself. with black voters, in Detroit, 3/4 of the population. So even though El-Sayed's doing better, even though the election day vote is sort of his bread and butter there, he's still losing it right now to her. He's just not losing it by as much as he's losing the absentee vote by. So the idea of a landslide for Stevens in Detroit that could net her something like 30,000, a plurality, something like 30,000 votes, statewide, she's trailing by 25,000 right now. Okay?
Yeah, that's why it comes down to Wayne County.
A quarter of the vote that's in. There's still a ton of election day vote to come. What's counted so far? So what are we doing right now?
What are we doing? Khaki.
Well, ironically,
Was there a call in Michigan 13? Okay, I just want to go to it. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So,
There's been an update in Genesee.
Yeah.
13,000.
And sorry, I'm going through that. What we said about this coming all around to Detroit and to, Stevens' ability to get a big number out of there, I think it's coming around to. And what I'm trying to get through in my head right now, and we're going to do a hit, and then we're going to, I think this is becoming the question, so we're going to go focus on how many votes do we think
I would love
will
a water.
come out of Detroit? What share of the vote do we think Stevens is going to get?
Yes, that's the whole point. Come on, Steve. You were talking good. You were talking a big game earlier.
And what plurality is that going to translate into? Because, and then that just comes into play, all of these individual counties that we've been going through, there are places where she falls short of that Biden-Whitmer benchmark. There's some places where she goes a little bit ahead of it. There's some outstanding, we're trying to figure out where they're going to land in Grand Rapids. She's at 33% with 71% in right now. The wiggle room that she has, okay, when we use that Whitmer benchmark, is Wayne County. Okay, because look at Stevens is leading in Wayne County by 20. They're coming to me. We'll go through this. The wiggle room. What?
Got like 4 producers in this.
Not everyone can do live streaming. It's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy.
What we expect for the total vote out of Detroit. Yeah.
Stop crumpling the paper, Steve.
Great on the lab.
We are back, keeping a close eye on that critical Michigan Senate primary on the Democratic side. You're looking at both campaign headquarters here for Abdul El-Sayed, Haley Stevens as well. There's a lot of action, except we can't see it because it's happening as the votes are being tallied, and we don't know what those results are yet. We are dying to know. We're going to be checking in with Steve Kornacki throughout the night. He is joining us now.
Stop the steal, Wayne County. Stop the steal.
Let's start with, where we are statewide in Michigan, I got to find Welker is going to be joining us in a second. If she's on empty seat, she's here. She's walking into the studio. I don't want you to think she left us. I just wanted to flag that. Steve, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, look, statewide in the Democratic primary, we're at half the vote right now, and that margin, it's a little bit more just ticked in right there. 3.5 points for El-Sayed over Stevens. I'll tell you what we're trying to figure out right now is how many votes we expect out of the city of Detroit and what kind of plurality we think that Haley Stevens can get out of that. Because the numbers from Stevens out of Detroit so far for her have been really good. And I'm just looking at it right now. It's a frustrating thing. We can't show you in the board, unfortunately. We can show you the county, but not within the county. In Detroit right now, Stevens is getting 69% of the vote, and El-Sayed is getting 27% of the vote, okay? So that translates right now into a plurality of nearly 25,000 votes for Stevens, and there are a lot of votes still to come here, okay?
Yeah.
Now, a lot of that, the vote by mail is doing some heavy lifting in that Detroit number I'm giving you right there. Again, that vote by mail.
The UNC vote.
The election day vote, though, that has been counted so far, she's winning. Not by any kind of margin, that she's getting the vote by mail by. She is winning it. And so we're trying to get a handle here on what we expect the final vote to be out of Detroit and what kind of plurality that could ultimately be for Stevens, right? Because right now she's trailing 27,000 statewide. But if she's romping in Detroit, if that's what ends up happening, okay, and this is a place where I should back up a second. We keep talking about the election day vote powering Al-Sayed. This is the one place where, you know, it's not going to help Stevens like the election, like the early vote is, but she's doing, I think, so well with the black vote that she may be able to do good still with the election day vote there and really get a margin out of Detroit, okay? And could that margin, right, how much, you know, could that margin eat into this when Al-Sayed is leading, you know, by statewide right now? Other things that we're looking at, you know, other big sort of places that we're looking right now that loom as key, Genesee County, where Flint is. You know, this is a pretty big piece of real estate. About 4% of the vote statewide is going to come out of here. This has, you know, outside of Wayne, this has the second largest concentration of black voters in Michigan. So again,
Who's doing pretty well there?
It applies not quite as dramatically, but it applies to Flint and to Genesee County, and we're just kind of getting started there with the vote. 23% that's in Saginaw County here. Again, there's a substantial, not as much as Flint, certainly not as much as Detroit, but there is a meaningful black population there, especially in a Democratic primary. Quarter of the vote, Stevens there leading, you know, by a double-digit margin. Opportunities for Stevens in these places to post pluralities that could really eat into what you're seeing from Al-Sayed right there. We're also trying to get a handle on what we've been showing you in a place like, you know, Grand Rapids, Kent County, you know, where Al-Sayed got huge numbers out of the city of Grand Rapids. That included the vote by mail in Grand Rapids, and where the rest of the county.
Okay, that's like, that's fine. That's all right. All right.
Do you think it builds bad for Abdul if Haley wins Detroit?
Yes. Yes.
But
Haley,
Abdul still wins. Let's say
No.
Abdul still wins.
No. If Abdul wins, it's not a problem. Okay?
That he lost Detroit.
No, if Abdul wins, it's not going to be a problem because these are mostly like party loyalist voters. They're not going to vote for a Republican. They're most likely, especially black voters, are most likely not going to sit out a general election unless the Democratic Party literally actively tries to rat fuck Abdul, which they're not going to because this is the path to Senate majority. So I'm not worried about the general election, but I am, however, worried about the margin of victory that Haley Stevens will win Detroit over. This is the real issue. That's what I've been saying. That like Abdul's election day voter turnout is not enough to actually even make up for or put a dent in the margin of victory that Haley Stevens has with a lot of old voters. However, UMich voters' first batch of Outer Wayne looks not that strong for Haley. I love that so much of the arguments from people in response to like Abdul's performance is just literally being like, oh, he's Hamas El-Sayed. Like they're not even hiding how unbelievably racialized the attacks are. Like they're just straight up literally in his UMich voters' replies being like, your boy's a fucking jihadist. Like I hope he dies, all this shit. It's genuinely insane.
It's all anti-Muslim.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Israel's realized that Israel is apartheid.
Yeah, no one is pro-Israel, but at least they can still draw up animosity towards Muslims, especially seemingly not that bad in fucking rural counties as well, including to a certain degree in Detroit, which is like I would say still a surprising performance because black population polled overall are far more woke on the issue of Israel than any other demographic.
But it's like the same thing that they did to take out Jamal Bowman or Cori Bush the first time around, right? They never argue about the issue. They argue about
it's never about
boosting
none of it.
$10 million for Obama fake endorsed Haley Stevens.
Yeah, none of it has anything to do with Israel, but it doesn't matter. It won't stop Israel from doing a victory lap if they they get anything here.
So if you're doing the math from 23% to 32%, the vote went from 30 to 17. So that is
not great.
I've never seen you look this nervous.
Well, I mean, you've never seen me on election nights. I'm always this nervous.
Like this, just like refreshing the needle.
Oh, I'm literally same with Zoran. Like it's never over until it's done. I was far more confident about Abdul than I have been with any other race. Judging by like the the 10 points to 20 point margin of victory, but there's a reason why I'm here and not like anywhere else in these. What's going on? What's up? Yeah, of course. Because like people are like, why wouldn't you go to St. Louis, for example? Like Abdul's a rat. Hi.
Nice to meet you. I'm running
Lipco.
What's up? Nice to meet you.
I'm running a state house campaign in the 88.
Hell yeah.
We're starting a DSA chapter in Muskegon. So shout out to Chad if you're in Muskegon.
Hell
This is
yeah.
my guy. This is my guy.
We're really trying to get some DSA momentum. Let me get a picture.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Sorry, I was awkwardly staring
Also,
at
this is
you.
part of the reason.
I was just wondering if you were doing something.
Oh, we've been doing things, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome.
Am I able to sneak into? I appreciate all the work you do. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, you got me on this, to be honest.
Thank you for being all over this campaign.
It's been a time.
It sure has. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you've done with DSA.
Of course. Nice to meet you guys. No problem. I don't like people's rosy perspective on it. I think on election night, I think most people, no matter how experienced they are in interpreting results, they literally just look at the overall percentage and they go, oh, 10%, Abdul's up 10 points, like that, it's over. That's not the case, obviously. It matters entirely where certain votes are coming from. Like I think a lot of people also overestimate, like for example, even someone like Steve Kornacki, I suspect is like overestimating Dearborn turnout. But then there's like a lot of unpredictable factors that you only get a better understanding of if you literally go to these districts.
Wait, why is it
One of the
overestimating
things-
Dearborn? Based on your
Like a lot of
experience
people, a lot of people will look at like past performance or whatever, or maybe even like look at not a primary necessarily, but like a general election, right?
Yeah.
And one of the problems that I found out in like the Dearborn turnout, for example, like the overall turnout in Dearborn, is that, I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like at the end of the day for Abdul, right? But there are a lot of people that live in Dearborn that also live elsewhere, like they have summer homes, so they'll fly back. So a lot of them don't send in absentee ballots, so they're just not here and they don't vote. So but some of them actually come back before the general, so then they actually still end up voting in the general. So if you're looking at past performance like that, you're not going to be able to interpret, or you're not going to be able to correctly predict the results. Similar thing with Detroit. A lot of people are like, oh, Detroit, it's a city. Like the election day turnout is going to be great because that's where our bread and butter is for this sort of movement. Is like young voters, in urban environments are going to come out in big numbers. It's going to be youth turnout, and it's going to actually make up for the early votes that come in with older voters who have it varies state by state. Like some states, like in Los Angeles, for example, in California, younger voters tend to vote very late, sometimes on election day, but they also drop mail-in ballots rather than go in and vote at a polling station.
Right, so what's the deal here?
I think here it's older. It's like more classic. It's like older voters. They vote early. They vote often. They love voting.
Those votes get counted first?
So I don't exactly understand how they count these votes because I thought they were going to do them separately, and that was part of the reason why I was excited very early on, because I thought that Abdul was expected to be losing like by really wide margins in the early vote, because it was going to be the early votes, the absentee ballots that are counted first. That's not what happened. They ended up counting mixed. They ended up counting mixed. I don't know why, and I don't know how that works. But Donovan is up. Good. Good. They're doing drops kind of chaotically, but the broad understanding that early is worse remains mostly true. It's mixed, but directionally true still. So yeah, if early voting was like straight up, not mixed, and it was just early votes, and they had separated the way that they were counting the votes, and Abdul was up like 20 instead of being down 35, that's why I was like, oh my God, it's super over. Like, it's unbelievably over. It's going to be like 75% or something. You know what I mean? Like something crazy. But it wasn't. It was mixed. So they had mixed results, and I guess like Abdul is still, you know, doing better in certain areas, and Haley Stevens is actually, from what I understand, doing a lot better, like outperforming expectations in a lot of rural counties. A lot of small towns, and also, of course, the black vote. But she hasn't actually been trouncing on the black vote in the way that she needs, but she is close enough to what she needed as the decisive margin over Abdul El-Sayed, in especially the early votes, that, you know, it's going to keep getting closer and closer. Big dump in Wayne for Abdul. He's down 17,000 in Wayne County with 45% in. New York Times Needle officially predicting an Abdul win by +2. Scroll down. I mean, is it Nate Cohn?
Okay.
I don't know. I can't scroll down because I'm not logged into the goddamn New York Times account. Jesus.
The needle has been wrong a while.
Yeah.
Keep injecting that into my
Yeah. I need that needle right now. It's copium. Give me a dose of copium right now, Nate.
I know the needle personally. I trust him.
Yeah.
Go college together.
Oh my God, if one more person gives me Stevens just went down from 25% to 7% in Kalshi, I'm gonna headbutt you through the phone, okay? I am so anti like gambling in general, and also like these sorts of prediction markets, that I hate that like people rely on them in any way, shape, or form, especially because like if you're in this community, you're super tapped into the elections far more than the average person is. So you've seen the prediction markets for Zoran showing, and the prediction markets for Adriano Espaillat, showing an Adriano Espaillat victory on the day of the election, and showing an Andrew Cuomo victory on the day of Zoran's election. So they still trust it. I don't know why. It's vibe session. Nothing turns me into a fundy Muslim more than gambling, Lama Fayal. Yeah, that's the one thing. That's the one thing that I only care about as far as haram goes. That's the one thing. That's literally it. Everything else, I mean, I even eat.
This party's haram.
This party is halal. Yeah, there is. I wish it was haram. Same. You got it. Election night. Like, I would like to drink a little bit. It would definitely help me with my nerves currently. But you know, yeah. New York Times showing Abdul El-Sayed. Wait, what? These are old, dude. These numbers are old, aren't they? Yeah, I don't know what the is going on here, but. Yeah, Abdul El-Sayed at 50%, Haley Stevens at 47%, with 53% of the votes counted so far on the New York Times. 405,000 votes approximately, with Haley Stevens at 382,000, trailing close behind. Very close race overall. It might actually come down to a +2 margin of victory. But once again, not worried about what this says in the general. Not worried about what this says in the general, especially because the Haley Stevens voters are not voting for Haley Stevens because they're offensive voters, they're defensive voters. So they're literally like her entire campaign was around big endorsements and defensive voting for the general, with the idea that like a barrage of earned media opportunities coming from the likes of Jake Tapper and numerous other like, you know, anchors and whatnot, talking to the boomers all day, every day about how terrifying Abdul El-Sayed is the reason why they would vote for Haley Stevens. Those are high propensity voters that will absolutely vote straight Democratic ticket every single time. So I'm not worried about that at all, unless there is like a crazy rat operation that tries to depress voter turnout, which could happen. That could very well happen. AIPAC could come in and hammer anti-Muslim sentiment as hard as possible in Wayne County to set up Mike Rogers with better margins overall.
Is going to be out at midnight.
Yeah, I know. They're coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
In Kalamazoo County, one of the counties we are watching closely tonight, says Christine Zhang, Dr. Abdul El-Sayed is leading across vote types. These results continue the trend of favorable turns for El-Sayed in counties with college towns and large shares of young voters, including Ingham County, where Michigan State is, and Washtenaw County, where University of Michigan is. Oh, we might get kicked out.
What?
Because both of these, I guess like the Tim Balk says, New York Times reporter Tim Balk, who I have not seen tonight yet, even though he texted me. I think he wanted to interview me. Has said the crowd is thinned noticeably at Dr. Abdul El-Sayed's party in Detroit. His campaign says as the venue for roughly another hour. Many people are glued to election results pages on their phones. One told another he was leaving to get pizza. There has not been a speaker for quite a while, saying that the environment has shifted inside of the Abdul El-Sayed headquarters. But I think it's I don't think these guys understand. I think it's because this is a halal event with families, like a lot more. I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot more kids here than like any other election.
People are nervous.
Well, I think that's part of it, but I also do think that it's people just like going to sleep because they're like, we're not going to get the results until like far later in the night. Which, if that's the case,
No needle?
oh, I missed the needle. I didn't even find the needle. Update from Zachary Danini. If you don't give me something good, I'm going to find Vote Hub headquarters. Exactly what El-Sayed needed in the Detroit election day vote. Pretty much best case for him, but it's a close race and a long way to go. Obviously, Detroit City E-Day vote comes in with Abdul hot on Haley Stevens' heels. Election day vote showing Haley Stevens at 50.1% to Abdul El-Sayed's 46.9%. Remember, like, it's all about stopping the hemorrhaging at this point in Wayne County across the board, specifically in Detroit with election day voting. Because Abdul obviously still has a margin of victory here, but every single drop that Haley Stevens gains on, it entirely depends on how much she gains on Abdul by. If these percentages hold, we'll see. Like Dearborn, Hamtramck lean in Abdul's direction, but again, they're not going to be able to give him large enough total votes for him to make the distance for Detroit, which is a far larger share of overall votes, around 22%, I think. That's why I was worried from the start about like leaving it up to Detroit is very dangerous predicament. But unfortunately, that's what it's going to come down to. If Abdul loses, I'm on board with the Democrats fixing elections. Stop the steal. They're joking. They're not being serious. Ingham County still set to add 10K votes to AAS lead. It's not as close as it looks, Hasan, unless Wayne absolutely obliterates Abdul El-Sayed with the rest of his vote. It's very unlikely she catches him.
Who said that?
What?
Who said that?
Someone in the chat did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to win. It's just the margins are going to.
Yeah, but it.
Feel bad because the margins.
I don't like it. Donovan took the lead, 52-47.
Donovan's going to win. That's good. Donovan might come here. That's nice. You should have Donovan.
Donovan will put me in a much better mood. If I see Donovan, I will automatically be in a better mood. Let's be real. He's the only person that can put a smile on my face. I think we're gonna have to pack this up and go back to the hotel, by the way, because we're not gonna be able to know until later in the night. But yeah, UMich voter conservative estimates is at 2%. Abdul wins by 2%. That's crazy, by the way. That is like... Look, I don't give a if Abdul El-Sayed wins by 1 vote, okay?
Yeah.
A victory is a victory. No, having said that, I mean, this is like...
Those predictions.
Look, the greatest weapon was that one Detroit plus 53 absentee nuclear bomb. God damn boomers, man. Boomers, dude. It is crazy. It is... God, boomers. Boomers, what am I going to do with you?
When do they have this place?
Like another, 45 minutes, I think.
Oh, really? That's it?
I wasn't even going to show up.
Yeah.
It's already on.
Yeah, it is already. Abdul El-Sayed is ahead of New York Times pre-election benchmarks on, obviously we're still waiting like for full results, but smaller cities and suburbs, data from 2 out of 14 counties show Abdul at +4. And then rural is Stevens +3 is the leader margin. Stevens needed at least +16. It's still early, but in the counties that have reported enough votes, Abdul El-Sayed is ahead of their pre-election benchmarks by a 7-point margin. These benchmarks reflect how we expect each county would vote in a close race based on past results in pre-election polls. I don't trust anything anymore. It is mind-boggling how much just the money cannon can sway this level. Like this is, like the fact that this is like close by an ass hair shows exactly how much money still has unbelievable amounts of sway. Oh, that's nice. I mean, she didn't have to do that, but.
Chain reaction.
Okay. Hi. Yeah.
We're so bored and it's getting so slow. So we are like, I dared them. I'm going to talk to Hasan. I'll say, listen, I need to make the cut, okay?
Okay.
My little blip there that I'm going to save for the rest of my life, I need to make it to your final cut.
Okay.
Me and you there.
Okay.
Okay.
You're in it. What's up? You want to take a photo? Let's do it.
We've been dating for ages. We're wondering what you're talking about.
We're crunching numbers. That's it. And we're looking at drops, big drops.
They were asking like how is streaming anymore? He's been streaming for
I'm like, what is he?
I've been streaming for 9 hours.
I need there's a lot of glare. I need a stool. I need to look taller. There's a lot of no, don't do that. Okay, ready?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's from the ceiling.
Yeah. Do you get my best side? Wait. Okay, try this one.
You don't have a bad side.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to come over towards me?
Yeah, thank you. Is that the deal? You're the camera. Oh, that's better.
Do you want to be in this and then David can take it if you want?
Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm going to make the final cut. I'm good.
Okay.
This is my first time ever. So I did about
Great.
Nice
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Have a great night.
What do you think? How long?
It's gonna be a long night, unfortunately. It's but it's fine. I think it's still, it's not terrible. It's still looking pretty good. But we'll see.
All right, cool. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Nice to meet you guys.
Is this what you predicted?
It's not just
close.
Well, people that are far smarter than me are saying it's a conservative, like a conservative prediction puts Abdul somewhere around +2 at the end of the day, and that's the margin of victory, which is in comparison to the expectations, especially because the polls were just like way too overconfident.
Yeah.
We shall see. Wayne County down to +8. Big dumps, massive dumps. Kernacki just said they think around 170,000 votes left, but they count Detroit already, so I assume most of it would be Dearborn and so on.
Well, thanks.
Of course. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was able to
Hi.
explain them what's streaming is.
Yeah, hell yeah. What's up?
I gave you the shirts the other day.
Oh, they were amazing.
Yeah, you liked them?
Yeah, I wore one already. It was sick.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know who it was, the Detroit spring printing company.
Oh, hell yeah.
Simplified. But I just know they didn't reprint over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for repping it.
Okay. Nice to meet you. Dave Weigel takes. Some takes for the take God, who must be fed before midnight. Dave Weigel says, El-Sayed on track to win, but a low single-digit win that makes the story more, how does he unite the Dems, then left-wing juggernaut crushes puny establishment. Money can indeed buy goods and services. Maybe not bad for him to start from that position. The influencer pool party looked like an early end zone dance, cut against his Made in Michigan bio. We need to chill the hell out in internal polling. It drove a Stevens' toast storyline, along with him out campaigning her small events, etc. Peter said it would be close. The polls said +17. Go with the senator over the polls. I'm not absolving myself here. I shared polling from Pro AES Super PAC that was wildly off. Yes, too much internal polling. There's good confidence predicting victory when reporters ask horse race questions, and bad confidence, Joe Miller going to D.C. in 2010 and posting pics of his office shopping before losing to Murkowski. Posting with influencers on live streams look like the latter. I don't think that's necessarily the case, but I do think that the pool party was a bad look for sure. Let's just say that wouldn't be my preferred activity. I'm far more a firm and committed believer in door knocking until the very last door that is to be knocked. And they did do that, to be fair. Abdul El-Sayed's team had incredible ground game, and they never really stopped. Him going to one pool party amidst like a million different events to say what up to all the influencers that were coming in from out of town to also show support. It's a blemish, but nonetheless. Zachary Danini gives us a vote of confidence. Says, I would still rather be El-Sayed for what it's worth, although it is, of course, a very close election. That Detroit ED drop was very important. Stevens needs suburban Wayne and the city of Flint to come in very well for her. That's what he said. So that's good. No surprise, but Abdul is sweeping election day voting in Macomb. Oh, there's But yeah, at least that vote splitting helped us with Willie Morris, so that's good. +8 Abdul and win. I will say he's remained around 50% for the past 30 percentage points. +8 Abdul and win. Kornacki's still pretty confident that Stevens can't do it. I don't trust Kornacki, I'm sorry. He's too much of a hoper. I think it's because he just, I don't know why, but I think he just thought that Haley Stevens would be doing better somehow.
So weird.
New York Times estimating Stevens only nets less than 2K more from Wayne. Hasan, I'm shitting my pants. Please hold me. Michigan Native American communities and reservations are located. Stevens is currently +8 in Wayne County. Not even American, but watching this whole thing nervously. I mean, this is an internationally relevant race. I want to remind people, again, $70 million. Okay? $70 million. Nate Silver as a bronze take. All right, Donovan is coming here. Nate Silver has a silver take. A lot of pollsters in Michigan are hurdy and or shitty, but it's a legit hard race. Then there's the question of Arab voters. Oh, okay, I missed it. Nate Silver says, there's a question of what pollsters do with Arab American voters. Important in Michigan, but still too small in an N600 survey to be reliable crosstab on their own. Do pollsters lump them in with the other, with white, as the Census Bureau did prior to 2020, or what? Yeah. Wayne, Oakland, liver. Updates since 6 p.m. Check logs. What? I can't check your logs. I'm on my phone. Annoyingly internationally important at the moment. Yes. 17 points is a massive win. A miss. One of the worst in recent times. No, I think that's just because those are internals. Like, internals are good to show consistent... internals are good to show trends. Internals are good to show trends. It's always going to overestimate and oversample your base. It's a confidence booster. It's good for a media narrative. But overall, my overconfidence didn't come from Abdul's internal polls, but my overconfidence came from Haley Stevens not releasing any internal polls. And there's no reason why she wouldn't do that. She wasn't like trying to sneak out. She wasn't trying to like sneak in a upset victory or something. She just had bad internals and they didn't release them. So I think even her own internal polling probably might have underestimated her chances as well. But once again, I mean, I understand why a lot of people treat voters like they're dumb as dirt. I get why. Because it is so much more fun to be enthusiastic and excited about a movement and like pushing for certain things and trying to get shit done than it is to get a deep and personal understanding, a reality check of like what moves voters. Okay, it really is. That's why so many of the centrist Democrats have this kind of attitude about voters, where they're like, no, voters are. They have this attitude where they're like, no, voters will get convinced by narratives that they see on television. They'll get convinced by, Abdul El-Sayed being a scary Muslim or whatever the like. They've been to give the annoying centrists at least some grace and some credit. They like their candidates, right? I always assume that they have a cynical posture because they're just like corporation backed and they want to continue getting money from, and continue protecting their comfortable sinecures. And that's the reason why they cynically say like, no, electability is this, electability is this. What they still are talking about in terms of electability is like, no, they'll just deploy a money cannon and voters will turn the other cheek. They will literally, or voters will just turn away from your candidate and they won't vote for your candidate regardless of how great his policies might be. And I think it is low-key always blackpilling. A blackpilling feeling that I haven't felt as much since like the Bernard defeats. We're not there, obviously, in this race, but the very fact that like $60 million can still have this much of an impact on a directionless candidate that literally ran on nothing. Like give me, Simon, give me the most, this is not, your part of your job, but I want to hear, like, give me the most like pro Haley Stevens case you can, just as a hypothetical, as a thought experiment. Like what
outside of the auspices of like electability, like on the merits, you mean? Or
yeah, like what is the appealing nature of Haley Stevens beyond television man saying this is electable and not like weird radical guy who's gonna, lose the election to Mike Rogers, even though all the polls have shown that Abdul was defeating Mike Rogers.
Outside of the Israel issue, what were the big disagreements policy-wise between the two?
There is literally nothing I can point to, and not because Abdul wasn't running on policies. It's because Haley Stevens did not.
So like on Medicare for All, where is she on that?
She never actually stood in opposition to Medicare for All. She broadly, every now and then, she would say things like, oh, this is just a wish list. I get shit done. That's all she said. So there's no policies. She had a 7-bullet point platform, I believe, that was utterly devoid of any like tangible policy perspective.
Where was she on immigration?
She wouldn't say abolish ICE. She was like, oh, we got to hold ICE not even accountable. I think she was like, we got to restrain ICE, but she had funded ICE before. And it's like one of those.
Okay, what about data centers? Where is she on data centers?
I don't think she, again, I don't recall anything from data centers.
Well, if you're a tick to the right of Abdul on all these issues, maybe you like her organically.
No, but she does. See, that's what I'm trying to say. She didn't do that, though. She didn't do that at all. Like, she wasn't even, like, Medicare. Like, Joe Biden very clearly came out with the public option as a way to, like, nuke Medicare for all as the viable, reasonable alternative. How much of that was actually people saying, I'm a policy wonk, and this is the only permissible path forward? And how much of that was simply like, yeah, I don't trust these, like, pie-in-the-sky idealisms or whatever. But, like, Haley Stevens didn't do that. She did not say, this is my healthcare policy platform. She just didn't really even attack Medicare for all ever, as a matter of fact. She didn't attack any of Abdul's policies.
Well,
she just...
Israel could not. There's still Democrats, obviously, who are more sympathetic to Israel than Abdul is. Could have made a difference. That's a differentiator.
No, that doesn't bear itself out in the polls at all. Like, it literally does not. So that's why I'm like, and also, if that was the case, then the ads would feature Israel, right? There was not a single, out of AIPAC's ads, AIPAC never spends on Israel anyway. So no, that's not, there's no way. Big dumps for Abdul incoming. Dump. Back up over 3% for AES. New York Times estimates El-Sayed will win the primary. Okay, that is, let's be. Not new, and also, they're just saying it leans in his direction, okay? Chill out. But do you see what I'm saying? Like utterly devoid of policy, And I guess like it goes back to, we're pulling out. Oh, I thought you were recording.
No, when you hit the...
Yeah, it is on here already. No, but
You don't need to.
so what I was...
I don't need to keep my job off.
Yeah, no, I say everything all the time.
Totally relevant.
So like what I'm trying to get at is that it is vibes.
Vibes matter?
But vibes matter, and I knew that already. But vibes can be so directionally manipulated by the barrage of ads. But normally, my theory, and I guess like Vincent kind of pushed back on this when we were in the car the other day, where I was like, my theory is negative ad spend depresses voter turnout. That didn't happen here. So negative ad spend usually doesn't like excite Haley Stevens' base to be like, oh, I hate this Muslim, like I'm gonna go out and vote against him, right? Like that's not something that usually happens. And it was a big problem with Hillary Clinton. Like Hillary Clinton's negative attacks against Donald Trump actually ended up hurting her as well, because it wasn't like promoting her policies, but instead it was just like giving Donald Trump constant name recognition and name ID, which he was able to, jujitsu his way out of by just being Donald Trump and having like high impact moments over and over again, which is what we've seen in other races as well with like Zoran. Whenever they ask him a question about like Israel, for example, he just like, boom, flips it back to like, I care about New York, whatever, right? Abdul's done that quite a lot as well in this race. But I guess there's never been a race like this as far as like a 10-to-1 outspend, so it's a very hard to predict. But I am still...
You're saying that AIPAC doesn't spend on the Israel issue in particular, but everybody knows. These are highly engaged voters. These are Democratic Party voters. Everybody knows where the two candidates are.
No, but I think... No, I don't think the people were... We saw... New York Times, I talked about this earlier. New York Times Daily had a Haley Stevens canvasser who was like very aggressively canvassing for her because she was like, I like Abdul, but like, I don't think he can defeat Mike Rogers. Haley Stevens can't. So like she bought into the electability argument. She literally turned around and told the New York Times reporter, I don't like that she's getting money from AIPAC. I wish that wasn't the case. I don't like AIPAC at all. That was the most tapped in, high propensity voter you can possibly get. Suburbanite, white woman, college educated, going out in her small town and door knocking for Haley Stevens, who still was anti-AIPAC. So that's the reason why I'm saying like, there is like, I mean, this is low key why they spend so much money. They spend so much money to like make you reconsider where they're like, maybe Israel isn't that much of a poison pill in a campaign. That's why they spend so much money not talking about Israel, but instead saying Abdul El-Sayed is a sexist or unelectable and all this shit. None of the ads ever feature Israel at all. Oh, 100%. That's. I mean, that is going to be, if we are doing any sort of, if we're doing like any sort of real analysis, like a real autopsy of what happened, that is the most consequential aspect of this race. I would never say that. I love Barack Obama. Please, Barack Obama, do not endorse against Barack Obama. Please, Barack Obama, endorse the winner of this primary. Hopefully, inshallah, it's Abdul El-Sayed.
I'll say it though, it was Barack Obama's fault.
I don't know this guy. I don't know this guy.
Has been vindicated.
I don't know this guy. I don't know. Barack, if you're watching, I don't know this guy. I love you. Please start endorsing against left flank candidates. I mean, for left flank candidates. That's the craziest thing. Like, that is the real truth, Nuke. A lot of people, like I talked about this before on stream where I was like, if Barack Obama would like even decide the nudge in any of these races, it would be a wrap. He could single-handedly destroy the left flank momentum. So I'm very grateful and very gracious to both the Podjons and to my GOAT, Barack Hussein Obama, who I love and I've famously always loved and have never criticized for staying out of these races. It would have been nicer if he was like, I didn't endorse Haley Stevens in this race. He didn't do that. See, this is out of love. I'm doing the Barack Obama voice out of love.
Right.
And not in jest. What? Yes, and he could do that again. That's the real truth news. Bro, Trump is on the tarmac talking about Abdul El-Sayed watching the race. He's with us. He's tuned into the Hasanabi broadcast. Oh, you can't hear it. It's dog shit audio. But he says, Trump, I have not found out who won the election with Abdul. Who won? Reporter says, it looks like it's going to be a late night. He goes, oh. In, I think, 23 minutes. At least according to Tim Balk of the New York Times. I hate the takes of people being like, conversely, even if Abdul wins, I hope he gets humbled. It's like, dude, it's $70 million. Like, it's not like he was, you know, like, it's such a ridiculous thing to just be like, we did this. It reminds me of my favorite quote, Enver Hoxha, who once famously said, between us and China, we have 1 billion communists. It's like, you didn't do this, okay? You did not do this. You are a random Twitter user who is utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
Who said the humble thing?
What?
Who said
Some random thing that showed up on my For You page of some like annoying asshole centrist Democrat who's like, it seems like Abdul has been humbled. It's like, you are sitting at home watching $70 million of MAGA billionaire money being directed at the behest of a foreign lobbying organization, being deployed against an American candidate who just wants fucking Medicare for all and to no longer, you know, dump endless billions of dollars to said foreign country, and you're acting like you had a say in this process, like you played any role in this process at all. It's like that meme of the guy who's like stopping the subway train as it stops. He's like, I did this, like I'm doing this, I'm pushing it. Like I had more of a fucking impact in this race as a random centrist Twitter account. You know what I mean? Anyway, of course, Jeremy Moss also is succeeding into Haley Stevens' seat, which, you know, is very sad state of affairs. It's that he's also super pro-Israel. So they at least got that one. Also, yeah, people after this race will be like Mallory McMorrow. There will be a lot of Mallory McMorrow truthers for sure that will say like, oh, this wouldn't have been a barn burner if it was Mallory McMorrow.
Yeah.
Well, especially if it's the margin there, or like the margin between them.
Well, it's not how that works. Hey, what's up? Yeah, nice to meet you in person. Yeah, unfortunately, it didn't work out.
No, it didn't. You know, you got somebody who's spending millions of dollars from
the Moss race that I was talking about.
America is not our
Yeah, people, I mean, this is why the centrist election watchers are so black-pilled about voters in general, where they just like talk about them like they're cattle. Like as though they deserve less. Because they've been running candidates that they like. For us, on the left flank, we never run candidates that we like. Or at least we've never had like an expectation that the well-liked candidates have any capacity to win. We're now establishing a lot of credibility in these races, right? Starting off in deep blue districts, but certainly have a shot, a real opportunity. I'm more so worried about like the consequences that this will have on the Francesca Hong race takes as well, where they'll say like, oh, see, it's fucking over. Like people are overestimating her as well. Like that's probably going to be like the immediate response.
I didn't mean margin error, but what happens if this remains true? That Morrow's vote total is the difference, basically, of him.
People who like centrist Democrats will blame her and be like, you should have dropped out before, you know, you were on the ballot.
There's no way to know what percentage that was.
Yeah, I know. But
people pretend it's all would have been all for him, but we all know. People like to think that. It's only true in the neighborhood.
Everyone's dunking on you Mitch voter, because he was the one who was like saying that the internal post, their very reputable source said, this grandma passed away, unfortunately. I met her at the Ann Arbor event.
Oh yeah.
This is we used to jokingly refer to her as my youngest fan. But she went to an Abdul event like many, many months ago. And yeah.
She was so excited to see this.
Yeah, it was awesome. I apologized to her for cursing. But she was so stoked apparently.
I mean, people might blame you too. They were doing it before, right? So?
Oh, I don't give a shit about that. Yeah, they fucking win or lose, I always get the blame. It doesn't matter. They blamed me for Nithya Raman. I didn't even endorse Nithya. And they were like, Nithya Raman lost because of you. And then she won. And then everyone shut the fuck up. Oh, yeah. They never went, okay, Nithya Raman won because of you. They just... No, I didn't.
That's your sin?
I know. Don't even... I don't want to talk about it. Well, I just, it's... There's a Turkish saying... I guess there's an American version of it too. I think it's like a cobbler can't fix their own shoe or something. Like a tailor can't mend their own. A tailor can't mend their own clothes. Is a Turkish saying, and it's like my backyard. I rarely get that involved in, and I'm just. No, it's just.
No, listen to the analogy, man. It's fine.
It's a little over my head.
You just watch the virtual part of the stream.
Or don't.
The interview. They explained everything.
Interesting. Okay, I'll do it later.
Yeah.
And just remember, she won.
Noted.
Yeah, she won because of me. No. It's funny because like a lot of the narrative building around me never comes from me and comes from what people are saying about me. Whether it be Joe Rogan to the left, whether it be like, oh, you guys are becoming like kingmakers, like all this shit. Like I always oppose these kinds of statements, but no one seems to give a shit about what I actually have to say about it. 10 to 15. Bro, they're gonna make it. They're gonna come here by the time they close this venue. I feel like they're supposed to be.
Was on her way as what's he called? Terminal. 4 minutes ago. That's 7-minute drive. So theoretically, but then Donovan's probably gonna take longer.
No, I know. Vincent said that they were.
Well, so
at 8 minutes ago, he said 10 to 15 minutes.
He has a friend who's a civil rights attorney, voter rights attorney, who's been following Wayne County for a while. He says that returns come in late, and then we won't know until the early morning for Wayne County.
Oh, late is late.
Like 4.
4 a.m.?
Yeah. Or early, depending on. Yeah. Do you have flights booked?
Yeah.
I'm on a noon flight.
Steve Kornacki is molding. Steve Kornacki is molding at the decision desk. He wants to go to sleep. Okay, that's really funny. That's funny. Get back to work, Steve. We're all fucking we're all 36K lead. Abdul El-Sayed, new dumps.
I like new dumps. Donovan being up is great though.
Dude, it's not Israel comes to me in my dreams, it's Wayne County comes to me in my dreams.
Just have this stream live, and when there's a new dump, it has a ding.
Wakes you up.
Just wakes you up, turn over, see if it's worth it.
Cranky Kornacki. Big dumps. Let's fucking shit.
Oakland is finished county, and she only won it by 6. So.
Okay.
That was supposed to be her best county.
Yeah.
So.
Going to bed, but if El-Sayed wins narrowly, one of the first things he'll be told to do is kick Hasan Piker to the curb to campaign statewide. And the Schadenfreude is delicious, says Shannon Watts.
Here it is. I was waiting for it.
I think it's really funny because, like,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
First of all, I don't think these people genuinely understand. And again, no one ever listens to me, weirdly enough. Even if I'm the story, no one ever fucking listens to what I have to say about this shit, where they'll be like, no, I know what's going on. They do not understand. This stuff is not for me. This stuff is and I know you don't fully agree with this as well. This is not as beneficial for me as sitting the fuck at home. I'm spending money. I'm losing sleep. I'm not. No, I'm not. But people don't realize like I'm a content creator. I could just sit the fuck at home and watch from afar and not get inundated with like terrorism allegations on a daily basis from Democrats. While on the other side, I have fucking Republicans, like the Republican administration also trying to set up like, you know, federal fucking indictments. Like, it's not, I don't want to do this.
I don't think people think you're doing it for your bottom line. I think you're doing it because you want to, because you think it's going to help the candidates.
Yeah, exactly. But the point is,
somebody like that thinks, oh, well, he doesn't help the candidates. We're going to kick him to the curb.
No, I think that people like that think that like their personal animus or their personal animosity that they've developed over, you know, what they see on their Twitter timeline is what's like greatly impacting their analysis. Like they think that you know, my involvement in this race is like, you know, playing a significant role when it's not. Like I think it's more so because all these guys will tell you, if you ask them, like the campaigns will tell you, they poll my shit. Like they will poll my approvals. Like they're not gonna make it. They don't owe me anything. You know what I mean? Like from their calculation, it's worthwhile. But yeah, another great victory for DSA member, 26-year-old Chris Gilmer Hill has declared victory over incumbent state representative Helena Scott in Michigan's 8th House District, Detroit, Ferndale, Pleasant Ridge. Scott, 66, came in third in her city council race last year. So there's another good victory for DSA as well right there. So that's good.
Is that Chris? Chris Gilmer Hill won.
Yeah. Dude, it's so crazy. Okay. What time?
They said they don't know, but before what?
So within 40 minutes.
Okay, question. It looks like El-Sayed has a very good chance to win. What do you think about the traction these DSA candidates are getting? Well, I think it's crazy because that's what Trump said. Trump said, well, I think it's crazy because it's going to ruin our country. These cities are always filthy, dirty, no jobs, no anything, no money. They are always filthy, disgusting, dirty. I'm a clean person.
That's real?
That's what he said.
He's a real clean freak.
Yeah, he is. That's true. Yeah, he is like, he's...
Yeah, it was a huge hurdle for him to start shaking hands in 2015.
Yeah.
He didn't like to do that. It's kind of why it's so ironic that he was so cavalier about COVID. Because you know that like, in a perfect world, he would have been a huge mask. Pure all everywhere.
Someone said this is turning into Lib Stalingrad. They're holding off strong.
I'm so...
It's
crazy. Do you think this was the pool party?
Yeah, I think it was the pool party.
Stop. No.
Oh my God, I can't stop refreshing. Okay, what are we looking at, chat? Give me some news.
How many people do you have seen it?
Like 50,000?
Do you need a charging bank, by the way?
Oh.
Good.
Yeah, 50,000 viewers still, 10 hours in.
Do you need a charging bank?
You have like good day, right?
Well, today is a special day. This community has been intimately involved in this race from the start.
Yeah.
Sometimes in ways that, you know, I would not like to even be involved in this race as, but
It was around your appearance that you started to really catch fire?
Yeah, that was the turning point for the race for sure. Like it was or at least that's what Mitchell and a lot of these other pollsters like directly pointed to. I'm good. Directly pointed to, but it wasn't necessarily because, and I keep stressing this over and over again, it wasn't because I'm like super popular or anything, but it was more so because like the media angling against Abdul as like the anti-Israel candidate in a way where they were like, oh, it's bad to be anti-Israel. It's bad to Hasan Piker is anti-Israel. Abdul El-Sayed is anti-Israel. This is a bad thing. Brought in a lot of national attention to the race. And that's when people were like, no, actually, we're also that way. And then Abdul literally got in the first place and never got off first place from that point on. And I think that was when Mallory McMorrow's like more progressive voters, basically, her progressive support collapsed and immediately shifted to Abdul because she was the one who spearheaded that movement at the direction of some of these like centrist think tanks that thought she would be the Goldilocks candidate.
April? That was like early April?
Yeah.
I remember like as a candidate feeling like, oh, something changed.
Yeah, no, he went from third place to first place and then never stopped being in first place after that.
But even just like in our race in Utah and probably other races too, like feeling like, oh, we can do things differently than we were before because we saw the reaction to that.
Yeah. And also, a lot of people will try to, like, look, a lot of people are going to look at this race and it's the take machine and the take economy is going to go crazy. But like, what they have to literally look at is $70 million in ad spend and also the governor's endorsement, the outbound senator's endorsement, and like the endorsement of other, like, I mean, I talked to a lot of people in Detroit, community leaders out here. They don't think Jim Clyburn's endorsement was that relevant overall, but there are, I think it's the head of the Black Caucus here. His endorsement was like far more relevant overall had a lot more sway in the black vote in general. So, what is this? Diamond hands on the take economy. And also, last but not least, it was the Obama endorsement. So you can put that in the bag. Like you can look at it as like a fake Obama endorsement.
It's the happy birthday wish today.
Yeah, it's so shameless. Like everyone being like, Abdullah has a ton of work to do mending bridges. Here's the take nuke for you, okay? You are all unbelievably Islamophobic pieces of shit, okay? You literally called the dude a terrorist for months on end and like called him a sexist, misogynist, terrorist, bad candidate, fake doctor when he has like 2 degrees. And now you're gonna sit there and be like, well, you know, you really gotta come to me now. Like, what are you talking about? Do you wanna win or not? Lock the okay? Lock the And I do worry that there are some out there who, in an effort to make sure that this narrative that a progressive can win in a state like Michigan doesn't take root, will literally either subtly or, you know, not so secretively endorse Mike Rogers or stay out of the race while, you know, trying to push the excitement in the opposite direction. Like everyone is already doing the can El-Sayed unite the Democrats? And that question is just, can El-Sayed get the pro-Israel vote? Can El-Sayed win over, not even the vote necessarily, but like, can El-Sayed get the people and the groups and the NGOs and the consultants that have worked extensively for pro-Israel candidates to shut the fuck up about El-Sayed being a terrorist for a long enough timeline so that, you know, we can consolidate the base and defeat the Republican? That's the real take. That's the truth nuke. What?
How much do we think APAC is prepared to spend against
$100 million. Easy. Like, 100 million plus.
All right. Let's take it down. Let's take it down.
Also, I'm because it won't just be Abdul. They will literally be like, Hasan Piker is a terrorist. Here's his home address. You should drone strike it. Like they've done it. They've sent a drone. New York Post sent a drone to my house. Rupert Murdoch literally sent an aerial drone to my house to take an overhead photo of it, and then they plastered it on the cover. So that already happened. Again, didn't get enough national attention, no national endorsements overall. Like, in our experience, this works very well. Like the secret sauce is either Bernie or an AOC endorsement, DSA activity on the ground. Abdul didn't have DSA, but Abdul had Bernie and AOC and myself. So if we all work in tandem, that has been the secret recipe in all of these insurgent races, including ones where our candidates are getting outspent. Never 10-1, of course.
Do you think there's still a place for the WFP right now? Or do you think they're just getting completely outclassed by DSA?
No, I think WFP is still a very important organization in these efforts. Like, look, they don't have, I mean, they have money, they have access, they have connections. Like, I'll never discount any, like, I don't, the example I will use is Connie Chen. Connie Chen was running against Shoykot, right? The institutional left in San Francisco didn't trust Shoykot Chakrabarti. So they were like, we need someone else. And Connie Chen is not like a super progressive, she's progressive, very progressive for San Francisco, but like she's not DSA, she's not a socialist, right? And to be fair, neither, Shoykot doesn't call himself social either, but Connie Chen in that race called me an anti-Asian racist and she wanted to win. And now that she won the runoff, like, she's in the running, I don't give a shit. I'll endorse her. I'll go stump for her. I'll go door knock for her if she wants me to. She doesn't, I don't think. And she has a pretty close race so far with Scott Wiener. But like, I just want to win. I don't give a I want the most progressive person to win in every single race, which means I always want to defeat the Republicans. But I don't think the same intensity exists for a lot of establishment Democrats who are way, way more comfortable with losing to Republicans as long as, they don't allow their left flank to win. And I do worry about that. And I've been worrying about that regardless of how big of a blowout potentially the Abdul race might have been, right? And it didn't turn out that way. So they're already hitting the, so they're already doing the takes. Look, Josh Kraushaar, Jewish Insider. These are the type of primary results that, win or lose, raise a lot of red flags surrounding El-Sayed's electability. Black voters going big for Stevens so far. Like, brother, $64 million. $64 million.
What do you think Olivia Ryan was in that match? She's in this.
I'm surprised that she hasn't come up to me. Oh, they're here.
We're missing another comment.
Vincent, give me something. Give me something. Give me anything. Give me anything. No, I want takes, man. I don't give a shit about anything else. I want numbers. Give me the numbers.
Donovan's in a really, really, really good place.
Yes.
Donovan's in a really good place.
Okay.
The next drop for Donovan it's possible it'll pull him down a little, but it's like a false. So people should prepare for that emotionally. But
okay, that's good to know.
Then the drops that follow that should be much more positive.
Okay. What do we think about Abdul?
I am not panicking, and nor am I like, we got this.
Yeah.
I'm in a chiller mood.
Okay. Where did, from your estimations, where did Haley Stevens overperform? You said it was like rural.
Well, I mean, she clearly did very well older black voters, which we knew was going to be the case.
Yeah.
And I think there was some idea of a Abdul overperformance that didn't fully come to fruition, which adjusted some of people's ideas. But she did really well in the rurals, in the smaller towns, in some of the mid-sized cities. You see on the map, right? Like,
yeah.
So that's what's going on. But also, there's so much vote left.
I know.
Just gotta chill. But I mean, there's clearly a huge number of Donovan Stevens voters.
Yeah. No. I mean, we saw that when we were out there.
Yeah, we did.
So it's expected. Yeah. No, that has been one of the most interesting aspects of this race overall is that normally like you have some sort of like cross endorsement appeal across the board. It just did not work at all in this case.
I think it's all like a one. I don't want to make any.
No, but it wasn't a 100%.
Oh no, for sure.
Like
I just mean I think that Donovan and Abdul crossing door thing made a big difference for Abdul and Donovan with different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, normally you would. There's no, like, when there's a DSA slate, it's just, there's a website for it, you know exactly where your polling station is, you know exactly who you're voting for, boom, boom, boom. Whereas, like, and there's not a lot of split voters.
True. That's true. I believe that.
Where's Donovan?
Oh, you see my text. So, Donovan pivoted and is going home to his young children, but we have two fun guests for you.
No, it's fine. They don't. I mean, I don't even need guests. We're supposed to be leaving. I think this area is also, like the event space is also for until like a certain hour.
Probably true.
Yeah. So
how long are you streaming for?
I'm just gonna stream until they kick us out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I saw Politico. Progressives dreamed of a Michigan domination. Now they're sweating a tight Senate race.
It's just, you know, they're entitled to do a little bit of pre-gloating on.
No, I think it's bullshit.
But it's also, it's just funny because it's like, okay, what were y'all saying in February?
No, it's still bullshit.
I agree.
It's 100% bullshit. You want to know why? $70 million. That's it.
True.
There's no reason to concede on that narrative in any way, shape, or form. Like, yeah, okay, internal posters greatly overestimated. And I guess the closest was like the Emerson one was like inflated as.
But also, it's just, there are many takes that are beginning to propagate in my head, but there's so much vote left.
Yeah.
Who knows if the fact that the polling that was so strong for him, that was a cluster of polls at the end, which also reflect voter preferences of voters at the end. So maybe it'll be less of an inaccuracy because we'll see huge shit. Like it's just very hard to.
But we don't know how they're. Wait, do you have an understanding of like what are they weighing? Like are they going by who voted when in
the polling?
Yeah.
Well,
no. Are they weighing right? Like, is it weighed in the direction of like the closer you get to E-Day, the more the votes are going to be counted? Like right now?
Oh, so my understanding is the same, which is that it is not a situation where this is all mail, but it's like directionally true that the much more of the vote that is in right now is earlier vote, whether it be early in person or absentee. Like mail, it's heavily represented in this, but they count it in a mixed way. With the direction, like that truism of like the results will get better as time goes on is not a linear thing in this instance, but it is directionally still true. So I understand this vote to be, I know this vote to be, particularly in Wayne County, to still heavily overrepresent male.
Zachary Danini says, I have Abdul by 1.5 right now. We're in a situation where I just don't have that much insight into where Wayne is remaining, but it's not either of the candidate strongholds, Detroit or Dearborn. The vote left in Ingham, Kent, Kalamazoo just isn't great for El-Sayed. But at this point, he built his firewall, and then burden is on Stevens to figure out how she's going to close it. Still in the situation where I'd rather be Abdul, but we aren't that close to a call. To be clear, at this point, El-Sayed is heavily favored. Maybe my wording is a little too soft. Above 1.5 point is like 23K margin, and he's up 37K right now.
Is this a Wi-Fi password?
No, I have no idea.
Figure it out. Who might know?
Marquette County in, Abdul up.
All right, I'll be right back.
What? We're not a panic hand, chat. We're not panic hands. Marquette 57.9% for Abdul, 35.6 for Stevens, 6.4 for McMorrow. Can you go bowling on? No. 70% of total votes in, guys. I don't know. I feel like this is a lock. No, you're not looking at the percentages, and you're not looking at the different areas that they're counting from. I'm predicting a McMorrow comeback.
Oh yeah, everyone on election day.
If you vote for her, she can still win.
There's still time to spoil your. Oh, if Mike Pence has the courage. Mallory McMorrow can still win this election.
No, I'm doing a January 6th in the state capitol for Mallory McMorrow.
Do you know what time that would be?
So
do you know what time he's gonna speak?
Who?
He's here before.
Oh,
1.
Abdul?
Yeah.
If the race gets called, can you bowl against Vincent? No, I will be going to sleep. I'm gonna knock myself out.
What's happening to me?
He said, "Can you bowl against Vincent if the race gets called?" And it's not gonna get called until 4 a.m. anyway.
Okay, here it just happened. So Sri just got boosted by 1.4% and Donovan down 1.4%. We're at 50% of the vote. Canada and Michigan's 13th. That's the false. That's what's supposed to scare you. Don't get scared. I'm good. How are you? So, all on track for Donovan McKinney. This is very exciting, Donovan McKinney.
That is very exciting.
Full slate victory is huge. Full slate victory is huge. That's where
we just had a 0.3 boost for El-Sayed. Okay. I hate that the Wayne County's website is really, really bad, and it's really screwing with the dashboards.
Mallory at 4%. Let's go.
Are you all staying here? Are you going to the main room for Abdul's speech?
When's he gonna speak? Of course we'll go to the main room. Oh, okay. Let's go into the main room. Abdul's gonna give a speech, right?
Can you come back here?
I don't know. I would take my stuff if I were you. You never know. We have to go inside for Abdul's speech. I'll do it after.
Hasan Reactions is one of the best ones in the React channel.